walking down the pavement gray. Voices whisper, shadows play. City lights a dozen show. Truth in bits on breezes blow. New tales on the corner spread. Eyes that hide what's left unsaid. Papers rustle, headlines bold. Stories new and stories old. News from the streets of London town. Echoes in alleys spinning round. Whispers in the night profound. Truth in silence sometimes found. Sidewalk poets lost in thought. Dreams and hopes that can't be bought. Passing strangers share a glance. Every look a secret dance. Hidden lives beneath the rain. Mysteries don't leave a stain. Through the fog and through the mist, London streets by truth are kissed. News from the streets of London town. Echoes in alleys spinning round. Whispers in the night profound. Truth in silence sometimes found.
Hello, my darlings. Hello, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to another Hafiz Reflects, Banksy Style Live, wherever you happen to find me. On Kick, on YouTube, and on Twitch. I believe that's where we are currently broadcasting from. I'll be honest, I haven't even checked the Twitch one. Because what we are doing this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is an experiment in streaming. We are streaming in YouTube Shorts style on Hafiz Reflects. We should be just streaming in normal on what's it called, on YouTube's. As far as I understand, yep, I think we are. And yep, so we are Shorts, Hafiz Reflects, UK Rainbow Soldier, ready with the USA White Flag Brigade. Big up Hassan, thank you for being with us on the stream. And thank you for those who are at the Banksy channel for Curb Your Enthusiasm and 72 Virgin Goats, which is always appreciated. 72 Virgin Goats is something we all need. So, boys and girls, what are we doing? I'll be perfectly honest with you. This was totally unplanned. I needed to test this short business just to see if it works. So I just went for it. And it looks like we already found the customer, which is Hassan Yalmaz, and it looks like the boys are in the house. The usual suspects are here. Roy, big up Roy. Hope I get to see you tomorrow, mate. There's another gathering of the tacit Hamas supporters in Trafalgar Square, or generally London, somewhere, at some point. Sorry, let me. I need to move these things so I can actually see them in a better way. These are I've got monitors in various locations. I got monitors in every area code. Area code. Oh. So yeah, I've got a lot of monitors and a lot of chat. Now I have to monitor two different sets of chat. One from the Hafiz Reflex Shorts style, and the other one from the Banksy style. This is way too much work for one human being to actually have to do on a stream that has like 5 people on it. This is madness. This is Sparta. Yeah. So anyway, sick of it. Hashtag sick of it. Evening Banksy, evening Cheeky Chops. Fun with Dirts. Big up Fun with Dirts in the Hafiz Reflex channel. I have the first exclusive video of drone crashing in New Jersey. It's on my channel. Oh, wow. Wow. We may have to look into that, my good sir. Let's check out Fun with Dirt. Fun with Dirt's channel, who has a potential exclusive. Okay, Dirty Sanchez. Why when I typed in Fun with Dirt's, Dirty Sanchez came up? What have you been doing, Fun? Why is it when I type Fun with Dirt's, Dirty Sanchez comes up? You're going to have to explain yourself, young man. Okay, let's copy the link. Let's see if we can pop it in here and see what we get. I do apologize. I'm actually chewing gum, which is extremely bad etiquette. You do realize, Fun, though, this video of yours is going to completely throw my entire show, because I had no intention of actually showing that, and I was going to do something completely different. But there you go. But thank you, sir. Is this real, or are you pulling my leg? I hope this ain't some comedic bullshit, because that is not going to be good. Okay, let's have a look at this, boys and girls. There you go. This is for everyone. Let's see what are we seeing here. Let's go full video. Full. Actually, no, full is good. Not good. Full messes up the settings. Sorry, can't go full. Just go this way. Ah, you asshole! You absolute bastard, Fun. You see, I knew it. I knew it was going to be some fucked up joke from you, huh? No, you're bullshitting. You're fucking with me now. And now, you see, you made me swear. And I'm not even, I shouldn't be swearing on that one. I'm supposed to not be swearing on Hafiz Reflex. Go. You see, they always do it. There's always one MFer who thinks he can ice skate uphill. And here we go. You see, I trusted you, Fun. I trusted you, and you did me dirty. So apparently no. But there has been large, potentially SUV sized drones flying above America, and they suspect Iran has a mothership over in off the coast of America somewhere, where they're launching these. And what does this mothership run on? I mean, is this some kind of arc reactor Tony Stark equipment? I mean, how does it get fueled? Because these drones have to return to the mothership at some point to get recharged. So what the hell does the mothership run off? And how does that get it refueled all the time? I mean, what is it? Some sort of a I would say helium, but I was going to say hydrogen-filled balloon, which would just give flashbacks of Hindenburg. But anyway, you did me dirty, Fun. You did me dirty. You did me dirty. And you know that this is a family-friendly show, but you had to go and stick a penis in it. But remember this, Fun. Remember this. the dildo of consequences rarely comes lubed. I'll tag you back. I will tag you back for this. But for now, let us continue back to the original show that we had planned. Thank you. Hello, Jupes. Hello, Jupiter. So we actually have a star-studded cast here. Every all the fashionable people have arrived. I may have to actually run a panel. Oh God help me! I have to run a panel. How am I gonna run a panel? I don't know, Jupes. You want to jump on a panel? Are you in that way inclined this evening to do a panel? And now I have to go set up a panel. Oh Lord. Okay, I'm gonna do my piece, and then I will consider a panel. I will initially do my bit. Let me do my bit. Yeah, screw this. I'm just gonna do my bit. Oh, son of a motherless goose! Don't you just hate it? Don't you just love it when you're sweating like a pony? Okay, guys, keep yourselves busy. Smoke them if you got them. Because I gotta do this stupid thing for now, for 10 minutes, while I set up a stupid StreamYard setup. Oh, it's so much easier if I just went live through StreamYard. Swear to God. I swear to God. Okay, let me see if I change this. They're gonna screw everything up. It's gonna screw everything up, isn't it? It is. It's God. Sorry, guys and girls. Oh no, actually it's not. Okay. Where the hell? Where the hell are you? God damn you to hell. Here we are. Found it. Okay, guys. Sorry. Smoke them if you got them. Just to keep yourselves amused. Amused for a while. Whilst I try to embed some of this nonsense into this. Oh God, it's going to be impossible. It's going to be goddamn impossible. Actually, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Not that one. This one. Oh, son of a beast. What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? Many mistakes were made until I arrived here. Many mistakes were made. Sorry, guys. I'm actually literally trying to set up a StreamYard thing to try to get this thing up and running for when I'm ready to run a panel. It's insane. There's just too much damn work. Too much work involved. Okay, guys and girls, we're talking about Syria. Now, I have some theories, I have some thoughts, I have some ideas, and I wish to run these by you. As we all know, Syria has recently changed hands. We have now got a so much more tolerant and just such a better democratically elected group of people who've come into charge. No, of course we haven't. Syria is a giant poo show. And I have to say poo like I'm on some kind of episode of Batman in the 60s, because I cannot actually talk like a normal human being on this God-forsaken platform. So, yes, Syria is going to be a giant poo show. They're going to be probably as bad as Libya. There's going to be warlords. There are going to be slave markets. I can promise you that. Yes, they're going to do these things, because literally ISIS did these things when they had control of certain parts of Syria. No, Syria is not going to be Islam light based. This is the beginning. You know what the Taliban said when they took over Afghanistan? Remember that? Remember that sack of lie? Oh, we're so much better. We're Taliban 2.0. We're nothing like the Taliban in the 90s. Women are not allowed to speak in the streets anymore in Afghanistan now. The Taliban passed the law. Women are not allowed to speak anymore. So yes, no, it's not. It's going to be a horrendous, nightmarish of a place. The funny thing is, Israel is already getting some land grab, quote unquote, where they've got certain villages on the borders of the Golan Heights. I would imagine that's where they are, because that's what the area that of Syria that Israel sort of procured after the war with Syria and various other Arab nations in those early years. I don't know, it was the 1960s or something. So they basically control the Golan Heights, which is technically Syrian land, but Israel has occupied it for decades, and it considers it as a strategic location. But the thing is, there are some villages who now want to separate from Syria and become part of Israel. I think they're Christian or Jews or something. They no longer want to be part of Syria because they know Syria is going to become an Islamic S-hole. And so they don't want to have anything to do with that. They want to break off. Now, obviously, those wonderfully democratically elected people of Syria, is it HSN or something? There you go. The post contains some distressing details. This is a post from I was beaten and punched, sharing tiny cell with 33 others. This is a post from, I guess, one of the liberated people. I've been speaking to 44-year-old Dina Cash about the 6 months she spent in the women's prison at Mezha Air Base in Damascus in 2013. Oh, this was on the Assad, during the height of the Assad regime. Her husband Ammar Dara supported the opposition. Okay. So this is to do with the opposition. But can we hear about what's been happening to some of the people of the opposition? This is it. This is the actual breakup by the looks of things. This is how it's. I don't know. Actually, Syria. Syrians are the biggest group of asylum seekers in Austria, according to Reuters. Main destinations for Syrian refugees in 2023. 10 countries hosted over 95% of people fleeing Syria. Obviously, the lion's share: Turkey, Lebanon, Germany, Jordan. Germany is third. Holy crap. Jordan, Iraq, Egypt, Sweden, Austria, Netherlands, and Greece. Yeah, they haven't quite made it over to us yet. But those are the ones who are actual Syrians. I guess they're not the ones who are just claiming to be Syrians. Now, are these Syrians going to go back? Hell no. Hell no, none of these. And in fact, there's going to be a bigger influx of Syrians fleeing Syria now. Another wave. Expect another wave to come, boys and girls, because there's going to be a whole bunch of Syrians who are going to now claim they were Assad supporters, and now they're fleeing Syria. Before, they were pro-Assad that fled, anti-Assad, who fled Syria and claimed asylum. They're not going anywhere. They're sitting nice and warm and fuzzy on your council house and social services benefits. And then there's going to be a whole new wave of Syrians who are going to come over and going to claim asylum because they were pro-Assad Syrians. So good luck if you think this is going to decrease immigration from anywhere at any time ever, because it's not. It never has, and it never will. Not a single Syrian is ever going to go back, and more are going to arrive. Good luck. Good idea, stopping women speaking. Reban from the pubs too. Okay, we've got a new guy, Taiki Turkin, who is clearly a based male patriarchy supporter. Good on you, Taiki. Is it Taiki? I'm gonna go with Taiki. This is, by the way, this is, if you guys want to catch Taiki, you're gonna have to go to Hafiz Reflex. I'm doing a shorts thing on Hafiz Reflex. Sorry guys, I've got two like multi streams going on here with two different chats. Things are gonna get messy. Anyway, where were we? More Syrian refugees. Yes, expect more Syrian refugees. I mean, in fact, Syria at this point is just going to empty out, and it's going to be like a dozen warlords and their troops. That's it. That's pretty much going to be the entirety of Syria. None of them are going back, although the ones in Turkey may do. I mean, Turkey has taken lion's share of 3.2 million of them. I think there's a good chance they're not going to go back willingly, but they're going to get kind of ushered to the door, kind of nicey, but not so nicey, by the Turkish authorities, I'm sure. So that's what's going to happen with the Turkish ones. But then those ones who get pushed out from Turkey, they're just going to kind of find their way into, shall we say, Western Europe? Most likely. They ain't never going back to Syria, dude. So Syria is going to become an Islamic nightmare. Now, this is my hypothesis, if you will, of this situation. I think that all of this has been in plan for a very long time. This is if you like, we are coming almost to the end of this particular cycle of remapping and reshaping the Middle East. I said it back in when, I don't know, was it 2000... I forgot, 13, 14, maybe 15, when I said Israel, and if anybody's interested or has any knowledge of the Greater Israel Project. Now, some people, conspiracy theorists, if you will, have postulated, these madmen have postulated, that for a long time, the Israelis have had ambitions to re-establish the old kingdom of King David. Now, these mad, crazy people have said such madness, as Israel intends to have from the Euphrates. Is it the Euphrates? There's a sea in southern Iraq. Is it a river? The Euphrates River to the Mediterranean Sea, where Gaza is right now. There has been suggested by some crazy madmen that Israel has had a long-term ambition to regain King Solomon or King David's kingdom, and that constitutes the landmass between where current Israel sits, Syria, good portion of Syria, and southern Iraq. That is the span of this kingdom. And in order to do that, you would obviously need Syria to be in a situation where the maps have to be redrawn. Iraq has to be extremely unstable and a failed nation in which the maps have to be redrawn. The old British colonial maps of that region is to be wiped and new borders are to be drawn. If you believe in these crazy, conspiracy theories, obviously I am not one of them. I'm just simply pointing out. And if that is the case, now I suggested that ISIS was going to do this work for them. ISIS was going to redraw the map of Syria and Iraq. And they were kind of doing that. If you actually look at where ISIS occupied, they occupied both Iraq and Syria, Mosul, northern Iraq, and they were going to push towards southern Iraq in order to basically control ISIS stood for, it wasn't just ISIS, it was ISIL. It was the Islamic State of Syria and the Levant. That's what their ambitions were, which would then entice, or at least they would at some point attack Israel, which would then give Israel a green light to go into Syria in order to quote unquote crush ISIS. Well, we don't have ISIS as such. We have ISIS light or Al-Qaeda, Diet Al-Qaeda now taking over. And Israel is setting up troops at the borders because these so-called Al-Qaeda light, or Al-Qaeda Zero, shall we say, sugar-free. Al-Qaeda Zero are now suggesting they're going to go to Jerusalem to take Al-Quds. They're going to go into Mecca and Medina to take them out of the hands of these corrupt Saudi kings, so on and so forth. They have great ambition. These guys, I mean, let's be honest, these guys are, if nothing but ambitious. These guys want to go right up that corporate ladder of global imperial empires. So they want to take Jerusalem, they want to take Al-Quds, they want to take Mecca and Medina and the Great Mosque, and etc., etc. So they have a lot of big ambitions, and I think those ambitions are going to force Israel's hand. I mean, Israel's always defending itself. In order for Israel to defend itself, they have to go and take them out in Syria, and also to protect the Christian and the Jewish Syrians that remain within Syria, although they're a minority, very, very minority group. But, they're going to have to protect the Christians and the Jews left over in Syria. They're going to have to protect the Kurdish women. Did you see some scenes of Kurdish women being taken by these jihadis, just like October 7th, where the Israelis were taken? So these things are going to force Israel's hand into stepping into Syria, deeper into Syria, possibly all the way to Damascus, and they have to protect. They have to protect themselves. They have to protect. This is all self-defense, kind of like the Islamic Caliphate, which was all in self-defense from Mecca and Medina all the way to Spain. They defended themselves all the way to Spain. So that's what the madman would say, that maybe this is all a precursor. But of course, certain dominoes had to fall for this to happen. Namely, Syria's Bashar al-Assad of Syria, and the Iranian Mullah regime. And none of this is going to happen until the Iranians fall, and Iran becomes essentially another Libya, another Syria or Iraq, failed, demolished state in which they're incapable of committing any kind of act of resistance to anything that may or may not happen in the Middle East. And the dominoes that needed to fall, which wasn't really Hamas. I mean, Israel can crush Hamas at a weekend. It was Hezbollah. And October 7th, whether you, whatever conspiracy theories you have, gave the green light to Israel to enact certain steps, which then forced Hezbollah to attack them, or at least put Hezbollah in a position in which they had no choice but to attack them. And also, by the way, the other domino that had to fall was Russia. Russia was instrumental in stopping any the rebels taking over Syria back in 2014-15 when they tried, or a few years back. Russia and Iran were the two instrumental countries that stopped and kept Assad in power. Those dominoes had to fall first. Russia was pushed in to an impossible position in which they were forced into a war with Ukraine and kept them in a quagmire there. Iran is too busy with internal strifes, as well as the fact that they were trying to assist in helping Hamas and Hezbollah, but of course Hezbollah and Hamas have been crushed by Israel, and so Iran has been neutered to some extent in order to assist in helping Assad to stay in power. Once those dominoes had fallen, Assad was vulnerable, and the same old enemies who were staying in the shadows came back, resurfaced, renamed, rebranded, again almost like Coca-Cola, Coke Zero. This is Jihad Zero. They came out of the shadows, and bam, here we are with Assad gone. Now, Assad is not the final domino to fall. The final domino to fall for all of this is Iran. Iran has to fall before the Greater Israel Project can start in any shape or form. And Iran shall fall. It's not a matter of if, it is simply a matter of when. When will Iran fall is, I would suggest at the rate things are moving, 2025 is going to be very interesting. The problem and the thorn in the side of this project, I feel, is going to be Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not to be elected as the President of the United States. He was not. It was a mistake. Donald Trump is not the war hawk that Kamala Harris is, Joe Biden is, and all the other neocons and the Democrats who are staunchly war hawks when it comes to this situation. Unfortunately, Donald Trump may be not a spanner in the works to stop it completely, but to delay this project for a further 4 years. He may actually be that particular spanner in the works. I don't know yet, because I still don't trust Donald Trump to be completely unfazed and if you like, unimpeded or not being able to be influenced by the various groups that are involved. I think Donald Trump is still open to being manipulated and influenced into agreeing to attack Iran or assist Israel in attacking Iran. No, Mr. Mossad. All I'm saying is these are some madmen who would make such accusations, such crazy, just, I would suggest maybe like Hassan Yilmaz would be such a crazy man, or maybe Keith. Oh my God, I forgot his name. Keith. There's a guy called Keith something. What's his name? He's a very staunch anti-Israeli individual. Keith. Man. Let me see. Keith something. What's his name? Keith. Oh, damn it. I completely forgot his name. Keith O'Keefe. There we go. Mr. Keith O'Keefe, who is a insane individual that would make such suggestions about the state of matters, the things that we have observed here. So all I'm saying is some madman like Keith O'Keefe would say such things. Of course, I would never in a million years suggest anything like this, because I'm a man of science and logic and reason, and just generally, a person who would never ever suggest such madness. But Keith O'Keefe might. So for those of you who may be interested in listening to the ramblings of a madman like Keith O'Keefe, then you may find his his Wikipedia is here. Keith Nicholas O'Keefe, born July 21st, 1969. He's an American Irish Palestinian citizen. Oh wow, I didn't realize he was an American Irish Palestinian citizen, and activist, and former United States Marine and Gulf War veteran. In 2001, he set fire to his United States passport. Subsequently, he led the Human Shield action in Iraq and was a passenger on the MAVI Marmar during the Gaza flotilla raid, where he disarmed two of the Israeli commandos who boarded the ship. Oh, he was on that ship. Oh, initiating a confrontation in which 10 Turkish activists were killed. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, O'Keefe gives speeches to white supremacists group and endorses David Duke. So you can see what kind of a scumbag this person is to make such suggestions. This man gives white supremacist groups talks and endorses David Duke. So he's clearly a scummy individual that you should never, ever, ever Google his name or search anything that he says, because if you do, you will find that this man is despicable on all levels. So never ever look him up. Never listen to any of his podcasts or anything that he said online, because he's just a madman, absolute madman. Now, by the way, all of this was being bantered about in like 2010, early 2000s. I think even before YouTube, I saw this man. So we're not dealing with things that are new here, people. It's just some of us have long memories. And we remember things, especially despicable things like this. I mean, someone like Ken O'Keefe or Kenneth O'Keefe is just absolutely despicable. Never listen to this man, and do not, and also don't take the testimonies of any Israeli soldier who's ever said that they were told to shoot children. Don't ever believe them, ever, because that never happens. Never happens. You've heard it here. Okay, so this went down a rabbit hole that I did not intend to go down. All I was intending to do was just, maybe connect some dots that people may or may not be interested. Hassan's in Banksy's other stream. Yes, he is. Hassan is in my other stream, for those of you who were wondering. I don't know, is it dangerous for me at this point to open up a panel and actually entertain any guests with their comments? I'm sure Mr. Mossad would have a lot to say about the subject at hand. Mr. Mossad, please be kind. Don't execute me. I'm just a messenger. Just passing on the messages. That's all I'm doing. Just a humble streamer, a tiny man trying to make the world a better place. That's all I can say. So yeah, guys and girls, let's do this. Let's start this S show. Now, please, for those of you who come on the panel, there are certain guidelines that you must follow. The F word is no longer tolerated on the Hafiz Reflex, and thus we are streaming on the Hafiz Reflex channel. We're not just on Banksy, so don't let yourself go wild and crazy. We're on the Hafiz Reflex. This is a family-friendly show. Imagine if you can't say it in front of your boss at work, you can't say it on the stream. Remember that. So yes, keep it cordial, keep it civil, keep it PG-13. In fact, keep it universal. I want Disney Channel language here, people. No Fs, no buts, no Cs, no Fs of any kind, including the cigarette smoking type in Britain. All of it has to go. You have to clean yourself up. Hassan, I'm speaking to you almost immediately. I mean, you are like the first. In fact, everything I said is just for you. So if you wish to come on the panel, you're going to have to keep it very, very, very clean. And everyone else, obviously, feel free to etch that into your brain. No Fs, no buts. So that's the rules for the stream. Now, the other things I wanted to discuss, and this is why I kind of went on that little monologue to begin with, because I wanted everyone to be aware of how the dots are connected. When Donald Trump comes into power next year, depending on what advisors he's going to take and what kind of advice he's going to take, I think the first month will determine how he's going to deal with this situation in the next 4 years. I still am not convinced that Donald Trump is immune to the influences, the global influences that exist, because you got to realize these people don't They don't just threaten your money. They don't just tell you that we're gonna cancel you. We're gonna bankrupt you. That's not how it goes. If you guys have ever read The Confessions of an Economic Hitman, you will know that they first send in the economic hitmen, and if the economic hitmen don't work, then they send in the jackals, and if the jackals fail, they send in the military. Now, I will put it to you that Donald Trump has already been hit with the economic hitmen. Look at the last 4 years, especially the last year of Donald Trump running for presidency. They send in the economic hitmen. Now, who were the economic hitmen in this scenario? The lawyers, the legal system, who tried to bankrupt him and essentially bankrupt him out of the race, to take all the cash and funnel it into lawyers' pockets and into the legal system, so that either A, he goes to jail, or most likely he just won't have enough money to run. But that didn't work. He still carried on running. Then what happened? Then they sent in the jackals. One of them missed a bullet and just hit his ear. Those are the jackals that come in. And if the jackals fail, in this case they did, well, there's only one thing left. And what I'm trying to say to you here is, these people will not just threaten you. They will threaten everyone that knows you, everyone you love. They're not playing games here. The stakes are high. And we have Mr. Mossad. Mr. Mossad, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't. Wait a minute.
I was
what's happening
surprised to hear
StreamYard?
your speech, though.
My StreamYard is a bit different today. I don't have all my. Oh yes, I do. Yes, I do. Hold on. Let me give you the.
I am holding.
Give me the.
Holding on.
All right. Okay. We gave you the standard standing ovation. Okay, Mr. Mossad. Now, what would you say to these madmen who would make such claims that I propose
Well,
this evening?
it's usual. The theories are nonsensical and they have no connection to reality. I mean, first, Israelis don't want this greater Israel project. Most of them don't even know about it, but if you tell them about it, they'll say, what? No. Because the situation for us would be that we would have many more Muslims inside our country that we have to deal with somehow, give them citizenship, or, there'll be... It's not a good idea, basically. We don't want more Arab Muslims in our population.
Interesting.
So we definitely don't want to increase the size.
But what happens if those Arab Muslims are pushed elsewhere? They're not in.
No, there's too many. You're not talking. If it was, you could like, let's say you wanted to. If it was in the thousands, you could push people out. But we're talking too many. Too many. If you look on the map, it's not realistic. What they will take. Absolutely will take is or at least try, is what is at the moment called the DMZ or DMZ.
The demilitarized zone?
Because...
And does that include the Golan Heights and all that area, right?
Well, the Golan Heights is already taken from Syria, so they will take a further small strip.
Yeah.
But that's about it. That's what they will take.
I think it's about the villages
wide.
Who actually want to separate from Israel, from Syria and become Israeli.
There are many more that are saying it quietly because they are afraid, right? Because if you say that you want to be part of Israel, it puts you in danger. So the ones who have said it openly are taking a huge risk, probably know that Israel will take them, probably feel confident. The ones that are not sure, there's an area called Jabal Druze, which is where most of the Druze are. And from what we hear through Israeli Druze, they want to join Israel. The problem is there's no geographical continuity between Israel and them.
Oh, where are they?
So they're near Israel, but there is a bit of Syria in between us. So, I think the Americans were trying to help them, and then they stopped helping them. They're in a bad situation there. Assad really didn't like and I don't think the new guys are gonna like them because they're not Muslim. They're their own thing. They're like a special sect. I mean, they.
Sorry, can you hear me, Mr. Assad? Assad?
Yes.
Sorry. We lost you. You're back.
Where did you lose me?
Yeah. We lost the. I couldn't hear you. I think it was a connections thing. It might have been my side. I don't know. But repeat again. So where were you? You were saying. Hello. Okay, I can't hear him. Chat. Anyone in the chat? Can you guys still hear Mossad? Sound off if you can. Just give me something. Am I the one that's locked out here? Hello. Oh, Mr. Mossad. Mr. Mossad has dropped off. He is gone. He is out of here. I guess maybe it was him. Maybe it was him. It's not me. It was you. But also yes. Bill Gates sniffing through his trash, most likely. Through Mossad's trash, maybe. I don't know. Okay. So boys and girls. Let me go back to the top here. Let's transfer this way. So now, Mr. Mossad does make a compelling case here that it could be the reason Israel doesn't want to expand its territories is because they will have to actually take on board all the Arabs that live in these regions, namely Syria, Iraq, southern Iraq, which would require Israel to basically quadruple its population, and no guarantees it will actually increase the Jewish numbers. I mean, they already have, to some degree, birth rate problems, the same as most other advanced nations. So yeah, there is that possibility, but still, okay. Let's see, Mr. Mossad. Mr. Mossad, are you back?
I think so. My internet went crazy.
I think you were revealing too much to us. Maybe the Mossad cut you off.
Yes, this is one reason. Second reason is we were for Trump, not against Trump. For us, the Democrats were very bad, and you can see that Trump appointed ultra-Zionists to deal with the whole Middle East issue. So it's clear where his mind, that he's already threatened Iran as well. So no, Israel does not want to expand. In fact, Israel today is 20% of its size in the 70s. We actually shrunk by 80%.
Oh, why?
Because we did a deal with Egypt and we gave them Sinai back.
Oh,
of
course, yeah.
Yeah, and we offered Syria the Golan back, but they said no.
What do you mean they said no?
Well, the offer was, let's have a peace deal. We each recognize each other's borders, and you can have the Golan back. And they said no.
Oh, I see. So the deal was they can have Golan Heights if they recognize Israel and its borders as a legitimate state.
And we recognize, we settle our border, once and for all, and they'll get the Golan back. So,
but you mean Syria doesn't have settled borders? I thought Syria's borders
not with Israel, right? Not with Israel.
Oh, I see.
Because they think we think the Golan is ours. They think the Golan is theirs, right? So.
But the Israelis didn't you just say that was part of the deal, that they would give the Golan Heights back to Syria as long as Syria recognizes Israel as a legitimate country and all that and its borders?
Yes, in its new border after they give back the Golan right?
Heights. But they
would obviously have to discuss the fine detail, but they actually said we'll give it back. In principle, we'll give it back. They said no. That was in the 70s, so a lot of it's changed since.
Of course.
but until the 90s, they were negotiating with the Syrians, offering the Golan back. You know, there was a lot of opposition in Israel, but I think they could have done it, the government at the time. But now the Druze, they don't want to be in an Islamic caliphate. So all the people in the Golan, I think they're like 90% Druze, and so they would want to stay as Israelis, I think.
So there's a lot of
they've
Druze
had an okay
in the
life.
Golan Heights, but you said there was a
Yes.
there was a bunch of Druze elsewhere, which wasn't a
Yes,
wasn't
the majority of them. Yes, the majority of the Druze are not in the Golan Heights, but in a different area, slightly to the east. If you bring a map, I can kind of show you where things are. But
But
the Druze are they're special people. They don't, they're their own thing, and they keep to themselves. And they're mentioned in pretty ancient books. European travelers would come across them and always note them as unique characters. They're fierce fighters, but very peaceful if you don't bother them. Is the general
I'm with you.
vibe.
But how about what was I going to say? How about this business of Kenneth O'Keefe, and the suggestion by some groups about the fact that that Israel has this ambition of the new
We don't.
Israeli
It's just we
project.
don't. I mean, I think there's like this guy that walks around Israel and asks people questions, and when he tells them he says, "Do you support the Greater Israel Project?" And half of them don't even know what it is, and like the majority say no. Obviously, you would say no. It's just such a ridiculous idea that only in the West people can believe it. In the Arab world as well. It's.
Now, am I
just
right
ridiculous.
with the
Yes,
actual...
we would like a mile here, a mile there, but it's only because of strategic issues, hills, things like this. We don't want a greater Israel. We're talking, what they've done now. I think they've expanded like 2 miles. It's 20 miles from Damascus. They don't want to take. We don't want Damascus. We don't want to take over Syria. We don't want this responsibility. Israelis would just not fight. They would just go home.
Let me. So it's the
they will just not
Euphrates
do it.
River, right, which is in southern.
There's
southern
no
Iraq.
way. There's no way my neighbors and my neighbors' kids are going there. They will just refuse to go. It's not happening. Nobody's going to be able to tell them to go, even if the government wanted. The government is not interested in such crazy ideas. This is nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Really?
And Trump, of course.
Interesting.
It's unbelievable what questions come up with. It's just insane.
But at
Oh my
least
God.
if you entertain me, is
Okay.
it actually true that this was the kingdom of, is it David or Solomon? I'm not sure.
No.
So where
But the kingdom
was
of
the kingdom
David
of
included
David?
It included the whole of Israel today, with little chunks of what Lebanon is today in the south, and this Druze area that we're talking about.
The Golan
roughly.
Heights area.
Kind of, slightly to the south of east of it, but we don't even know that, right? So this is just a myth. We don't know exactly where the borders were. So the kind of the notion that most Jews have is that it was from between the Jordan and the Mediterranean, what they call the river to the sea. It didn't reach
That's the
anywhere near
irony,
the
isn't it?
Euphrates.
That the Palestinians use that term of river to the sea, where
Yeah.
they mean, I presume they mean from the Mediterranean Sea to the Black
Jordan,
Sea.
yeah, Jordan River.
The Jordan, sorry.
Jordan River, yeah.
Yeah, the Jordan River, sorry.
It's that little strip on the left of your map, right?
Yeah.
So the Dead Sea at the bottom there looks like a.
Oh, yeah,
well,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, like what?
Yeah, the Dead Sea.
Like a hanging there, and that's the River Jordan above it, and that's the Mediterranean to the left.
Yes.
So this is what ancient Israel, and you see Judea, Israel written there. You can see the way they wrote Israel. It kind of sticks out to the right,
I'm with you.
right? Whoever did this map, it sticks on
Well,
top
yeah,
of
this
the
is
river.
someone who did the royal grant to
Yeah.
Abraham. So I guess
Yeah.
This is the. I mean, I just typed in the project for the Greater Israel Project, and this was the
Yeah, I
map
don't know who
that was
produces these
presented
maps.
as this is roughly what they were thinking about.
No,
try to get
no one
some-
no one in Israel is thinking about it. I mean, there might be some guys thinking
Mm.
about it, but they're no way have in position of power.
But do you think
and
that
the
now
majority of
we
Israelis
have?
would be absolutely against such a crazy plan? It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Yeah, but
There's no
all-
way anything like this is happening. And like all these crazy far right predictions about Israel, none of them ever happen. It's just another crazy plot that they come up with.
Yeah.
It's as stupid as the previous one that they've come up with. That what was it that Israel wants to have Muslim refugees in Europe? That was the previous plot that we're supposed to have.
well,
It's just how did they come up with this stuff? At least be logical, like make sense. Have a plot that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the thinking there was. I mean, I suppose if the thinking is that if they largely push out most of the Middle Easterners, the Syrians, and then potentially eventually the Palestinians, then that would actually be when Israel can occupy this particular area without having to deal with housing and maintaining the Arab citizens. I mean, wouldn't that make sense?
No, because then we'll have like millions of enemies, millions more crazy enemies really wanting to fight us, and they will be
Yeah,
right
but they're
as well.
just like they would be essentially
No, we don't want it. We
People
don't want
with
such a crazy
stones,
plan. You do it.
really.
You go and do it. This is crazy. No. Any
Oh.
politician that suggests this will be destroyed in Israel. Nobody would vote for something like this.
It
This
also
is
also
crazy.
actually includes Egypt, which I wasn't aware of as well. It
Yeah,
actually
yeah, I've
includes
seen this.
a
I've seen
large
this
portion
crazy
of
map.
Egypt. In fact, it's much
No,
bigger than
you have
just
to
having
understand.
the.
This is foreign stuff. This is like crazy foreigner stuff to us. Like we
But
don't
yeah, I
know
mean, we're
what
talking
this is about.
Syria, Lebanon. In fact, a massive chunk of Saudi Arabia.
Look, if they wanted, look, I'll be honest. If they said we can have it, I'll take it. But there's no way I'm sending my son to die for this. No way. No
It
way.
actually
I'm
includes
not
all of
sending them
Jordan
a
as
penny.
well.
A penny. If they do this, I'm leaving Israel.
It is
There's
a
no
very
way.
ambitious,
No way.
ambitious
No.
plan if there is such a thing.
No
because
way.
That is
No
several
fucking
countries
way.
that they're going to
No.
have to go to war with.
Half of Israel will just leave. There's no way they're going to support this. They will go crazy. I mean, look now, just over the war in Gaza, look how many protests there are.
That is
There's
true.
no way.
is
There's no
true.
way. This is
Israelis
absolutely
themselves.
not happening. This is just crazy nonsense from Europeans and Americans probably have come up with this nonsense. It's just unbelievable. So the second part of the theory is that we didn't want Trump, but overwhelmingly 85% of 80 or 85% of Israelis wanted Trump to win, and we were very much against Kamala, a bit less against Biden. But I think Biden got 20% and Kamala got 10% support in Israel.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea.
Wow.
We really don't like them. So although I mean Biden in the past was better, so when he came in, people weren't so much against him. But as things progressed, they became more and more against him. Because when he was with Obama, he was seen as the one who's more out of the two was more friendly to Israel. Because Obama was a disaster for the whole Middle East. He created the refugees in Europe. Instead of blaming Israel, who's got nothing to do with it, it was Obama.
Let me
Bush before him and
let me
Obama after.
propose something else to you. Forget about this whole nonsense of Greater Israel Project and all of that. But
Yeah.
my theory or hypothesis, if you will, about the fact that Israel may have actually orchestrated all of these various dominoes that needed to fall in order to make sure Assad is out. Because previously, when they tried to take Assad out, Russia stepped in, Iran stepped in, and they sustained him.
No, we didn't. We didn't try to take Assad out. We
No,
had
no,
a good
America
arrangement
certainly
with
did.
Assad and, oh, I see. No, but for us, Assad was kind of okay. I mean, if you pay attention, there was no war or anything between Israel and Syria for 50 years, and He allows us to bomb his own country. Literally allows
that's true.
us to
I mean,
bomb
you
his
guys
own
literally
country.
bombed an
Yeah.
Iranian consulate,
Yeah.
and he still didn't retaliate.
Yeah, exactly. So although Assad was terrible, absolutely terrible, we kind of reached a weird status quo with him that there was convenient. There was no fear at any time of like any Syrian attack or anything like that. We knew that they don't like us, but you know what I mean. It's kind of like a cold.
Yeah,
Everybody is like very
like
careful
a
to
cold
stay in
state
line.
what's it called? It was like not a cold war, but it was like a cold stalemate where
Yeah,
nobody
kind
was
of, yeah.
really like willing to go all out on anything, and
Yeah.
even Israel was occasionally jabbing Assad with bombing the Iranian consulate and things, but he still kept his.
Yeah,
Now,
because he allowed us to do it, more or less. He allowed us to
well,
do
yeah,
it
it was a
because the
tacit,
Russians-
tacit sort of allowing, but
Yeah.
or
So
a
for
tacit
us,
acceptance of the situation in which he probably couldn't even attack back in any meaningful
I'll
way
tell-
if he wanted to.
I'll tell you something, right? When Mubarak, who was the Egyptian president, before he died, he spoke to I think he was the Israeli prime minister and the foreign minister. And the foreign minister years later said that one of the things Mubarak told him, he said, Assad, he said, make sure he's safe. Make sure he's safe.
Wow.
He's good for you.
What do you think is going to now transpire with the way things are? I mean, they're literally talking about turning or appointing these groups, which were previous Al Qaeda, ISIS groups. Britain is already taking them off the terrorists or the prescribed groups lists. They've already. I think I forgot. Some other country just recently took the Taliban off the prescribed group of
The
terrorist
Europeans
list.
are, I mean, the Europeans and parts of America are completely losing the plot. They took the Houthis off the terror list until they started bombing their ships and blocking trade. It's like Biden sent the money. Biden sent Iran money. Are you aware of this?
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, the Iran money was kind of money that the Shah paid for weapons, which they never received, and it was all, taken, essentially frozen on behalf.
Yeah,
but yeah, it wasn't really.
But they
didn't give them extra money. They just gave them their
No.
money back.
Yeah, correct. But when someone declares that they want to destroy you, which Iran does, say they want to destroy America, you don't give them their money back.
That
You
is
say,
true.
listen, promise you won't destroy me and you can have your money back plus a bonus, okay? You get a lollipop
You
as well.
promised. You promised.
Yes.
You can't.
I mean,
no
come
backseas. No backseas. You can't take it
It's
back.
like,
You promised.
If someone, you owe someone $500 and you say to him, if I give you the money back, what are you going to do? He says, I'm going to buy a gun and kill you. And you say, okay, I'm not giving you the money back then.
No. You promise not to, and the guy's like, "Okay, I promise I won't." And it's like he's got his fingers
Yeah.
crossed behind him. That's how the mullahs took the money. They had their fingers crossed, you see. So they promised, but the promise wasn't valid.
I mean, I'm just amazed. I call them the cope theories. They come from very weak individuals who are, at heart, they're leftists, but they want to feel macho, so they call themselves right-wingers. But all they do is the same thing the leftists do, and is whine about how the Jews oppress them. Which, it's a bit like whining about white people oppressing you.
I know.
Just
I know.
stupid.
I know. But
So,
but I'm just saying, how is this situation? Is this going to be worse for Israel? I mean, from what I gather and from their rhetoric of them screaming, "We're going to come to Jerusalem next," it sounds like it's going to be terrible for Israel. But
exactly, it's
How
not
is
good.
Israel?
It's not good. I mean, there is one advantage is that it makes Iran weaker, but the other side of it is that Syria is now like crazy. You don't know what's
Well, it's
going to
like
happen.
Libya.
Where it was like a manageable situation with Syria. It was not great, but it was. I think it's going to be worse. A lot of Israelis are worried.
Because you see, my thoughts here is that this had to happen in order for Iran to fall or the Iranian regime to fall.
No, not really.
This was the only only way. It's like that, the end game with or Infinity. No, it was End Game. The Marvel movie. Doctor Strange only had one option out of the 14 million variations that he saw in the future. There was only one way for this to end, and this is it. Syria has to fall for Iran
not
to
really.
fall.
I mean, if you spoke, all the experts, all the people talking in Israel, nobody was talking about this at all. They were all surprised. All the different experts from the right, from the left, I listened to all of them. There's like also a YouTube stream where all the ex-army generals hang together and argue about strategy, and you should do this and shouldn't do that, and this mistake and that mistake.
Israeli. These are Israeli military.
Israeli, yeah, and they, like they just argue all day, basically for 3 hours, almost every day. And these guys said what we should have done is you first do this, and then you go from the left, and then when your plan is terrible because we did it and it failed
I
before.
understood Hebrew. I'd watch that. I'd subscribe to that channel.
Yeah, it's a lot. You get a lot of insight into like how things work inside,
Military.
But in the military, not from like being a pawn, but like being a general. You understand how they work, how they think. But anyway, they were surprised. Nobody talked about this, and it's not necessary for Iran to, it's two separate things. It's not like Iran needs Syria in order to exist. It just
no. But
Iran's
the thing
weakness is reflected, but the fact that it happened shows that Iran is weak.
The way I see these, how they're connected, and how, yes, Syria did need to fall, and Hezbollah definitely needed to fall before Iran had a chance, or the regime.
Hezbollah, yes.
Because
Hezbollah, yes. Syria,
Iran
no.
is notorious for bringing in foreign troops and foreign mercenaries to quash any uprising within Iran. That's what they did in like 2014 with the Green Revolution. They in fact did it in this time around with Masa Amini as well in 2022. So they've done this regularly, where they bring in the Hezbollah guys, mostly Hezbollah, but potentially it could have been Syrian as well, to kill the Iranian protesters, because they didn't want Iranian soldiers and Iranian guards and police officers to kill Iranians, so they would bring in these guys. Now they don't have them anymore. That very critical element of the Iranian regime's power and how they held on to power has now been removed. And so now that Syria has fallen, fermenting revolution within Iran is going to be a much more it's going to be a much more serious thing now. There's a chance for the revolutionaries to win.
I don't know how Syria would have helped them in any way.
Well, just sending in troops.
It's the other way around. The fact that
it was because Syria's revolution was much more serious. It was much, it was a hot war. It was a proper civil war, but and Iran sent in help for that, but also because Iran's revolutions or the sort of protesting hasn't been as intense, and it certainly hasn't escalated to the levels that Syria had with actual civil war. But the fact is,
what I'm trying to say, I understand what he's saying, but what I'm trying to say is actually the other way around. The reason Syria fell is because of Hezbollah and Iran's overall weakness. That's the reason it happened. It didn't need to happen for Iran to fall. It's a result of Iran being weak. That's what's happening.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking.
So there's this is not part of his Israeli grand plan. I mean, too many things had to happen exactly right. And this was initiated by Turkey, and Turkey is very anti-Israeli, so...
Well, they say that, but you see, the thing is, it's like I see from when it comes to Turkey especially, and a lot of these nations, Saudi Arabia, Emirate nations, they have this rhetoric, and then they have, actual action. Now,
the actual actions, he blocked all trade with Israel, and people who try to bypass it by selling it to Greek companies and then selling it to Israel, he blocked them too. No, there is action. He's very anti-Israel. And he does a lot of stuff against Israel, also diplomatically, not just.
But the funny thing is that
physical actions.
I listened to a guy called oh man, he's a professor, some Iranian, sound mouthpiece for the Iranian regime. He was
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
know in Muhammad something. Yes,
Yeah, he's a
he's
professor of
ridiculous.
blah blah blah, and
He
he
reminds me of the guy. What was he called? Chemical.
Ali.
The guy that said that they're winning the war as the bombs were falling behind him.
Yeah.
American
Oh,
bombs were
that
falling.
guy. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
spokesman for Iraq.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but I know he.
Yeah, forget. So now we got this guy.
Yeah, but yeah, this
Like,
guy was on George Galloway. He's a like
Oh,
a
God.
Scottish. I think you might know George Galloway. He basically he sides with everyone who's an enemy of Britain. I mean, he's
Yeah,
literally
of
meets
course.
up with every person who's enemy of Britain. Saddam Hussein, Bashar al-Assad,
And he really
Gaddafi.
admires them as well. I mean, he really admires them. He doesn't represent his country's
No.
interest or his people's interest. He literally is there to say to them how great they are. It's just so weird.
Yeah,
It's really weird.
Galloway is a strange character, and he actually won a seat at the Parliament this year. But then he literally had it for like less than a month before the government called an election, and then he lost his seat again to another even more Islamist than him. And he was like, basically, he was running for on the Islamist side. He cultivates the Islamist vote in Britain.
Yeah, I mean,
But he actually lost it to even a more of a actual Muslim because he's kind of like, he's not Muslim, so he's just a supporter. But
I
anyway,
think he is kind of a secret Muslim.
God knows. I mean, as far as we know,
he's a
openly,
very
yeah.
not
he-
openly, no.
Yeah.
I think also possibly Corbyn is.
Yeah. But he's very much, you could say he's very much in that Corbynite type of camp. But anyway, he's got this thing called the mother of all talk shows or something like that, and he was interviewing that guy. And what they were saying, and what that guy was saying, that professor, which, as I say, I should have prepared better, and actually I wanted to talk about that as well. And what he was saying was that it was Erdogan who betrayed Assad and allowed this to happen, and he actually kind of blamed Erdogan for this issue, for the fall of Syria.
Yeah, I mean, he cooked it. Yeah.
So
So it's not an Israeli plot at all. It's nothing to do with Israel.
But what I mean is, isn't that a bit? I don't know. I guess it's a bit difficult to fathom that if Erdogan helped the fall of Assad,
Well, he's been fighting Assad. He's kind of taken parts of Syria. He's also, just because the media concentrates on Israel, then Turkey can shoot, a bus full of Kurdish kids across the border, and nobody reports about it. It's just stuff like this happen all the time, and nobody cares because it wasn't Israel.
Because it does seem strange that if Assad to fall, how beneficial is that for Turkey? How does that benefit Turkey for Syria to be in this flux?
I think I'm not really an expert on this, but I think Turkey has like areas that have Turkish people living there, like Turkmen they're called, and they see it as part of Turkey. Really, they don't see it as part of Syria. They think it shouldn't have been given, to Syria in the first place. Also, the Russians have all sorts of interests there, so I don't know what they would do. But all these plots about Israel is just so ridiculous. How they come up with them, it's just mind-boggling. How did they do it? It's really imaginative. Oh, I'll tell you the one that for years they've been saying, oh, America supports Israel because they are, because of the Jewish lobby and all this. But what they don't understand is the Jews in America are reformist Jews. They're not really that big supporters of Israel. It's actually the Christian evangelicals that are big Zionists, and that's why America supports Israel. Basically. So there's 90 million or 100 million evangelical Christians. It's a lot of people, It's not the Jews. The Jews in America are not that keen on Israel, actually. If you talk to them, they're not that connected. They say, Israel should exist, but, they always have a lot of criticism on Israel.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, historically, Jews have always been democratic. It's actually in recent years that the Jewish population in America have flipped on the Democrats and have now started to vote. I mean, I think they voted largely for Trump this time round.
Not largely, no.
No?
There's still majority. I think the majority still voted for Democrats, but a lot have shifted to Trump, and a lot didn't vote at all. So you could see like places like New York and Florida, right? You can see people just didn't come out.
Because I think that this October 7th situation and the way the Democrats have pandered to the pro-Palestinians may have altered some of the Jewish perspective, because they realized...
not just the Jewish. I think a lot of people looked at the insanity of the left over this topic. I think it exposed the whole woke crowd. I think the 7th of October was the day woke started falling apart. I think that it's going to change a lot in this
I mean,
world.
I think it opened a lot of eyes because those who were on the Democratic side but also supported Israel, and also obviously support Jews as minority groups, etc., etc. You know, the whole, because their entire ideology is around supporting minority groups and uplifting minority groups, and then suddenly the Jews are no longer minority groups. They're considered white now because they're successful, and so for that reason, a lot of lefties suddenly realized, wait a minute, what strange bedfellows have we made that now we're the anti-Semites. And we because you see, the main thing that holds up a leftist, I think, mindset is this self-righteousness. It's this, we are better than you because I have better morals than you kind of standard. This looking down their nose at other people.
And a lot of American Jews are like that, and some of them have woken up to this. I was arguing with American Jews who were telling me they were supporting BLM years ago. I said to them, BLM is an anti-Semitic organization, and they would just block me. That would be the end of the conversation.
But it's true.
And it is anti-Semitic.
There were BLM.
It's anti-white, anti-European, anti-Semitic organization.
There were BLM supporters who were wearing the little paraglider symbols on their clothes. It's like, holy shit.
I mean, I knew it since the first march because I saw the sign, Free Palestine, in the march in Ferguson, which was the first BLM march in 2014 or 15. If you look it up, you look up all the photos, you'll find it in the end. And I thought, interesting, Qatari money.
Yeah.
And again, and people these idiots talk about the Israeli lobby. It's a diversion. They are being made to talk about this so they don't pay attention to the Qatari lobby, which has a lot more money than Israel has.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. The Qataris, the Saudis. I know for a fact the Saudis literally build and stock the libraries of Wahhabi mosques in London and Britain, all over Britain.
The Saudis are trying have changed. They're not pushing this anymore, or at least not to the extent that they were. But Qatar is these days the big driver of this.
Possibly, but I mean, I know, as I knew certainly back in the day. It could be because of Mohammed bin Salman's influence in the last few years, but back in the day, most Sunni mosques were funded by Saudi Arabia, and all the books and the reading material was Wahhabism, because that was their ideology that they were pushing. But I think Mohammed bin Salman maybe has been clawing that back. And they are not.
He's against it. He's against it. He wants to westernize his country. Basically, he wants to be part of an ally of the West. They've just said this. I don't know if it was played in on your channels and stuff in the UK, but in Israel it was a big thing. They had this singer. And the performance with male dancers, and they held her up, and she was wearing like a modern dress. It looked pretty revealing. And there's a big uproar in the Islamic world, and he's pushing it really as far as he can.
Absolutely, yeah. I as I said, I know that Mohammed bin Salman is making some moves, and he's shaking things up over there. Mr.
Yeah.
Lasad, am I still very loud or am I okay this time around? It seems...
You're a bit loud, but not too bad. Last
Oh.
time it was crazy, but this time
Yeah?
it's a bit, but it's okay.
Because it seems like my volume levels are the same still, but for some reason
It's okay. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
they're not-
If everyone can hear you, I'm good.
they're not off the charts. I guess I
No,
must have adjusted
it's okay.
something. Is it gone back down too low?
Technology.
Yeah. It's just sometimes the settings are just all over the place. But yeah, no, I'm just
So
gonna switch back.
what else was this Greater Israel? What else did they say? There was another point they built on. So it's a big plan. What a domino! I mean, come on. This
Well, I
is
mean,
ridiculous.
those were the.
Oh, I'll
those
tell you
were
the previous one. I'll tell you the previous one. So I was starting it. So they had this idea that the Jews, the lobby, the Jewish lobby in America is forcing America to fight for Israel and support Israel and all this. But in fact, it's the Christian evangelicals there. But the second thing is that I kept saying to these people, there's a big thing that the whole world depends on Israel for its technology. And they said, what technology? You steal your technology. I said, no, we invented technology you all use. And, all the CPUs in all the laptops on Earth, literally almost all of them, were designed in Israel by Israelis. All the Apple computers, all the Apple phones, all Intel laptops, all the PCs with Intel inside them, and lots of other things, the Tesla autopilot, all the security software, almost all security software, almost all firewalls and routers, all come from designed in Israel. All come from Israel. You can research it. Look where Moon Lake, the latest Intel chip was designed. Look who is head of this chip design for Apple, an Israeli.
Okay.
So, right? So Israel is the center of this technology. So it took me years to have them realize that. I mean, literally years. I was arguing with them and they were saying, no, it's a lie. And I said, just look it up. Just look up. Where was the latest chip? Where was each of the chips, the Intel CPUs? It tells you on the website, on the Wikipedia, on the Intel websites. There's no secret. And so now I've heard they've come up with a solution to this problem. What America does, it designs stuff by Americans in America, sends it to Israel so Israelis can pretend to have invented it.
Well, because the thing is, on the back of every iPhone, it does say designed in California.
Yes.
So to make the claim that it was designed in United in
The
Israel,
brains inside it was designed in Israel.
But the processes. I mean, Israel, Intel has had a plant, what do you call it, a warehouse or work, plant to
Not a
build
plant.
those chips.
No. No, they have a small manufacturing plant in Israel, but that's not what is made in Israel. It's the actual design, it's the actual inventions and patents that are driving this technology. That's what designed in Israel. It's all Israeli ideas. It's Israeli brains. It's not manufacturing, although manufacturing of
they
these
have a
things is
manufacturing
extremely.
in Israel.
Yes, but it's not like Taiwan.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously,
it's not
but
that
I think,
sort of thing,
I think
yeah.
Intel or maybe even other companies have started to see that they're too reliant on Taiwan, and Taiwan is a potentially a dangerous, place to have that much dependence on,
Yes,
given China's sort of aspirations. So that's
But
why they're
have you- have-
moving their
Yeah, have you
manufacturing
followed this? Have you followed what's happening with this?
with Taiwan.
No, with the attempts to build CPUs outside Taiwan.
Oh no, what's happened?
I'm in the industry, so I follow this stuff. So for years they've been trying. So at the moment, if you buy a new iPhone or whatever Samsung, the CPU inside the technology is called 3 nanometer, which refers to the size of the gates in the CPU.
Yeah.
But it's not actually true. It's a bit of a marketing thing. But anyway, the smaller this number is, the faster the thing is, and the less battery it uses. So you want to make it 2, you want to make it 1 if you can, right? So because the battery will last longer, you can play better games, you can do more things,
So
etc.
it uses less energy, it's more efficient, and it processes
Exactly.
faster.
Yes, and a combination of all those. So you can run it faster with the same energy, or if you want, you can, that's why you can have now some phones stay on, right? They don't ever turn off the screen. Have you noticed this? Some of the new phones you can put them in like always on mode. Or
Really?
the new watches as well. Yeah,
But don't they
yeah,
just
they
go
can,
flat very quickly?
because they put the screen in like a 1 hertz mode where it refreshes
Uh-huh.
once a second, or to update the clock, and that's
I'm
it.
with you. I'm with you. But it's
And they
always.
do all this trickery, but yes. But anyway, I'm lost my plot now.
Yeah, you were saying this nano 3 nano.
Yes. So in America, they built this plant and they managed to do 12, and it's fabrication fabs they call it. And I think they are working on 7, and they couldn't get any American force, like not enough engineers in America know this stuff, because this you have to have a whole industry of CPU designers and makers, and whole
Okay.
thing. And America kind of destroyed all these industries over the years. So
And they,
now, even if people study it, okay, they're very good students, but they don't have the experience as well. You need
so it's going to
both.
take years essentially
It's
to
going, yeah,
build all
it's,
of this
yeah,
up
it's
in other places other than Taiwan, because they've just been
yes.
over reliant essentially on Taiwan.
The not only that, but it seems the Taiwanese or the Chinese in general are just very good at this stuff. It comes easily to them, and they're
but
just very good. So it's
why
going to
don't
be
they
very difficult.
why don't they just simply move some of these people over to non-Taiwanese locations so that they can train
did.
up the next generation?
They did, but there's also this. The issue is you can't get them to enough people to move. You can't get the right people and so on. They got people. There's also a language issue, and these people need their teams. It's all a cultural thing as well. So there's a whole culture in these countries around these factories. People grow up wanting to work there, study. It's a whole thing. So
But I'm sure they could.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, right now, I think right now is, if I'll be perfectly honest with you, I think people only do things through panic motivation, like countries, especially if they're like, oh my God, we have to, this is imminent to do this. And I don't think they feel that panic yet, because they still think, no, Taiwan's still safe. America's military will protect it if China makes any moves on it. But I think they should be in panic mode now, where they're
Yes.
like, we have to build these factories outside of Taiwan and have the manpower and the people trained to be able to produce the exact same sort of level of product. Because China, I'm this is my guess, this is my estimation. See, someone like Xi Jinping doesn't have a 4-year term or 8-year term to worry about. He doesn't have to get things done in a 4-year, 8-year gaps, and then worry about the next administration coming and screwing up all the work that he did. He is there until he dies. So he's going to plan for the next 20, 30 years. These guys play the long game. They're not going to worry about, he's not going to worry about, oh, I have to get everything done in the next 3 or, like Trump. Trump has best part of like 2 years to get what he needs done. After that, there'll be another series of Congress elections and state and sort of Senate elections, and he may lose his majority. Quite probably, he'll lose his majority, and then he's going to get tied up in filibustering and sort of the machinations of government. So he's got 2 years to get things done, and if he doesn't, then he's screwed. Whilst Xi Jinping doesn't have that disadvantage. He's got the next 30 years potentially to get things the way he wants it, and then appoint his own successor after that to make sure that his work continues after his death. So it's an entirely different time scale that these guys are operating on there. So
yes,
they
this
don't
is why
have to worry about getting Taiwan now. They might. They're thinking about getting Taiwan 30 years from now.
Yeah, no, you're right. But for the time being, this is why America and the West have to stay strong, and of course, countries like Russia and China and Qatar and Iran are happy to sow division in the West. And you look at Russia today. They broadcast stuff that basically appeals to far left and far right. They literally create agitation on purpose. And this, Bezmenov told us about this. He told us the Russian technique. They
Yeah.
they just cause confusion, division, demoralization. I see so many Americans hating their own country.
Well, yeah,
All I have to say to them,
I
guys,
see it in
this
Britain
is yeah,
all day, every
and you
day.
know, I mean, Britain, Israel, USA, they all have many, many, many faults and many bad things have happened. But guys, this is as good as it gets. Okay, don't ruin it. You know, this is as good as we can do it, and all we can do is try to improve, try to do better. Instead of, you know, you don't destroy your whole house because the bathroom is slightly not right. You fix the bathroom. And I mean, I just can't believe that people, you know, hate Britain, the country that's. I mean, I already said how much I like the UK. I think that the UK brought so many good things to the world. Yes, it's done lots of bad things too, but we all do bad things. But on the whole, I think the British contribution is just undeniable. So-
Actually, it's a good little segue right now because we've got a staunch pro-Palestinian supporter, Nixie, in the chat. Now I don't know if Nixie is willing to come on the panel or not to discuss.
Oh, I
this with you.
saw she mentioned the Inon plan. You know, it's funny because
Yeah.
you know what Inon plan was?
What is that?
Some guy's homework.
How do you mean?
Well, a student was given an assignment, like his whole class was given an assignment. How would you solve the Middle East problems? And he wrote an essay. I would have Israel take over all of it. That was his homework assignment. And for some reason, nobody in Israel knows about it. Right? No one knows about this. Only people like me who listen to crazy Western
So,
YouTube.
so this was a school
YouTubers.
project. This chap called Oded. Oh, is it Oded Inon?
Yeah, I think he was in university. I think he was like 20 years old or something.
And she's saying, how about the Nohide laws?
What about that? This is the Jewish
What is the
belief.
Nohide laws? I don't know.
Well, you know, like Christians believe that if you don't accept Jesus, you're gonna go to hell,
Okay.
right? The Jewish equivalent is that if you don't follow the 7 rules of Noah, you'll go to hell, or
Oh, the
something like
Nohide
this.
laws. This is the
Yeah.
laws of Noah.
Yeah, and I think it's like don't curse God, don't eat a living animal, make sure you have courts of law in your countries, don't kill. I can't remember all of them. There's 7.
Nixie's saying there's more than that. It's more
There's
than
7,
just,
I don't
just
remember.
following the laws. What is it? I mean, Nixie, it might be actually
No, I mean,
easier if you jump on the panel and just tell us.
I'm sure she has lots of crazy theories, but that's what it is. But you know, most Jews don't even know about that. Most Jews are not aware of this.
But I mean, I'm
So-
happy for Nixie to jump on the panel and just give us
Yeah,
a rundown
the thing
of
is that
these things.
that people confuse the old religious beliefs with like how modern Israelis are. So modern Israelis don't know about these things because they're pretty secular, and the more religious people in Israel are not Zionists. Really, they're not.
I mean,
they
I'm
don't
sure
support the
Nixie.
state.
Would you say that you consider the works of the elders of Zion to be a thing of a fact?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure she does. Yeah. Okay, I've looked them up. I can tell you what they are.
What the work the elders of Zion?
No, the 7 laws of
The
Noah.
Noah's. No, I see.
First thing is, it's not even clear exactly what they are, but generally people believe that they are: do not worship idols, do not curse God, do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not eat a living animal, and establish courts of justice. That's it. So if you do all these 7, then you are righteous according to the Jews. I think it's pretty
Isn't it a bit like the
reasonable.
10 Commandments?
It's kind of, yeah. Not even the 10 Commandments. They say, you know, if people follow these rules, you know, we believe they're good people. That's basically what this means. It's the same as what Christians believe about if people don't accept Jesus, you know, they're not going to be saved or something. It's the same sort of thing. There's no. Same as Christians, we're supposed to promote these laws, but as I said, most Jews don't even know about them, so we can't promote them. The only reason I know about them is again through far right Western YouTubers.
Internet. I see.
Yeah, I
see.
mean, in
I've
Israel,
never
you
heard
wouldn't
of them.
know about this. Yeah,
I didn't
you
know anything about them.
Israelis don't know about them. Only people who are like into obscure religious texts, and some people are interested in stuff in history, so they would know. They say, if you said to them, "Do you know about the 7 laws of Noah?" They say, "Oh yes, yes. What is this?" Yeah, and they wouldn't even know what the seven were exactly. Yeah,
Nixie's saying, "Unfortunately, not tonight. I'm washing my hair."
yes, watching.
She's
I
clearly
use
talking
that
about her pubic hair.
accuse a lot.
But
But I'm balding, so I don't know how long I can do it.
no, she's not talking about the hair on her head though. It's the other one. She needs to put it into hot curlers to make
the
sure
hair on her palms.
the curls. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for keeping this PG-13 because I can't. But yeah. The she's
palms,
she's,
palms.
She's she's not
completely
available
kid
this
safe.
evening. But it's
That's
a
okay.
shame
Yeah.
because
Oh no, it's all this stuff I heard it so many times. It's like they're all like a living cliche of the same nonsense. So now I heard that they said that the Americans invent this technology, then secretly bring it to Israel, and then have Israelis pretend that they've invented it. But again, what they'll see if they act the brains, they'll know that this is an embarrassing claim to make, because if you look at the number of Israeli engineering, math, and so on, all the relevant things, the number of graduates in Israel is almost double per capita of that in the West.
damn.
So we produce twice as many engineers per capita. But not only that, all these engineers, almost all of them, then have to join the army. And in the army, they get assigned into all sorts of secret plans and things that the army does, technologies, advanced technologies. And then they come out of the army full of lots of ideas for technology. And then they already create networks of people like them in the army. They come out, create partnerships. And that's how you have things like Waze, for example, which Google now use into their Google Maps. So every time you use Google Maps using Israeli tech, every time using Waze, that's completely Israeli. Lots of things are Israeli. People don't realize. That's all.
Oh yeah,
Like every time you use the internet, you're relying on a billion Israeli technologies, from RSA encryption, and it's just endless.
Yeah. I mean,
endless.
I know 90% of the apps on people's phones are made in Israel. Most people
Not
don't seem to
90,
realize.
but a good percentage. Yeah, and these are where the ideas come from, not something that's easy to replace by someone else. So this is one of the strong assets of Israel. People don't realize that Israel also helps defend them. So many countries in Europe are defended using Israeli weapons. You buy tons and tons from us. So when you put an embargo on Israel, it's ridiculous because we won't sell you the stuff you want. and it's just silly.
Yeah, this
And-
is at the moment we have got the problem with David Lammy, who's our foreign secretary, who's started
Well,
to
you've got the worst government for
Yeah.
a very, very long time,
Decades.
and you've had really bad ones before.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have 14 years of just terrible conservative governments,
Yes.
and then now we've got this god-awful
I thought Boris Johnson
Labour.
would be okay. He turned out to be
No, because
He was terrible.
unfortunately some of his better advisors left or were pushed out, and then he was left with just simply listening to his wife and very leftist sort of rhino type conservative members. So yeah, he was pushed further to the left again. Oh, because the thing is, you see, the Overton window in Britain has moved so far that even the conservatives are actually leftists. There is no
Yes.
right wing or centre right party in Britain, at least not right now. I mean, there's this Reform who's trying to become that conservative centre right party, but you know they've got their own issues. But when it comes to conservatives and Labour are just Marxists. They're just crazy Marxists, and conservatives are Labour. Conservatives are left wing. So for 14
Well, there's a
years,
drift like this across everywhere. Even in Israel, we see it. Like people think Bibi is right wing. He's not right wing at all.
that's what I mean. People think, I don't know if you know Tommy Robinson, the individual,
Of course,
activist.
yeah.
People think he's right wing. They call him the far right, and the man
I know.
is nothing but left. He's
kind of a liberal.
yes,
He's sort of a liberal. Yeah.
liberal. I would say he's actually centre left. I actually
He's
think
like a traditional kind of liberal.
kind
I
of
don't
traditional
know.
liberal,
Yeah.
but really centre left. Because if you actually ask him about things like gay marriage, trans rights, leftist policies, leftist things that most leftists support,
like
he will support
health,
all of them. He has no
tax,
problem with all of that.
probably,
He's not a conservative in any sort of real way. Muslims are actually more conservative than like Tommy Robinson. Muslims
Yes.
are more right wing than Tommy Robinson. You ask
Yeah,
a Muslim about
the
gay
Muslims
rights,
vote.
they'll tell
the
you
Muslims
exactly what
vote-
they think.
You see, that when the Muslim is a minority, they are actually they've a philosophy on how to behave as a minority, and part of that is to take the weak position. So while they're a minority, they will vote left, they will vote for human rights and all this sort of stuff.
Freedom
because
of speech.
obviously, yeah, because it works for them. But once they reach a critical mass, they will flip
Exactly.
the script. It's part of the philosophy. It's like they know this. At least some of them know this.
100%. 100%. The fact
But
is,
what in Israel we have 20% Muslim people. In the UK, what do you have? 7. How can you not take care of it? What's wrong with you guys?
because as I say, it's the people are not willing. Those who should be taking care of this issue are not willing to do it. They're
Yeah, maybe
capitulating.
if they instead of sitting around and blaming Jews and coming up with all these feminine conspiracy theories, act like man. Say no, we're not having it. We're
Yeah.
not having it.
Right
go
now,
on a major strike. Just nobody turns up to work. Nobody does. Just whatever it takes. Just people are like just acting weak.
Right now, this is the insanity of the left. We have a politician in Britain. I forgot his name. What was his name? MP opposes call to first cousin marriages. We have a debate on whether you should get married to your first cousin in Britain right now. That is the
You know what? I don't know what the law
of
in Israel
Britain.
is, but I don't know what the law is in Israel. I never looked it up. It's never been talked about in Israel. I know that the like the very Orthodox Jews, they kind of marry within the same community. So, but they're very aware of this. I know that a lot of them do blood tests before they get married.
Well, the thing is, you see, there's one thing to be said about pointing at the Middle East and going, look at those crazy inbreds, because they're all first cousin marriages. It happens in Iran, it happens all over the shop. And obviously sub-Saharan. Actually, I don't even think it's just sub-Saharan Africa. I think that's all of Africa practices it to some level. Egyptians, Moroccans, Libyans, etc.
I think the worst is in actually is like the Iraq, Syria region. Is the worst.
In Iran, because I literally know family members who are first cousin marriages, and they've had children with twisted spines, they've had children with heavy autism, all sorts of fucked up things and messed up things that happen when these kids are born. And the thing is, in Iran, they've had blood tests for years where if you're first cousin marriage, you have to, actually it doesn't even matter. In Iran, it's standard that if you want to get married, you have to have a blood test so that they can
in
test your
Iceland they have an
compatibility.
app. They have an app because they're so all closely related in Iceland that you really have to be careful so you don't end up
Marrying.
starting a relationship and then finding out. You check it the first date. Now you have this app and you kind of swap
your
cards
name.
or something and you see if you are related.
Yeah. I can imagine. But the fact is that we actually have an MP in British Parliament now talking about how the benefits of first cousin marriage. These things were unheard of in Britain. Is this British values? It's nothing to do with British values. This is literally
actually-
the barbarism of the East. That's now
I
in.
said this on Facebook like probably 10 years ago to someone from England, and he blocked me. I said, that there's like 30% of the UK, what do you call it, genetic mutation, like cases in hospital where they have to treat people for genetic, what do you call it, like deformity, that's it. 30% are Muslim, I said to him.
Yes. Yeah.
I said, what do you think that is? I said, another symptom is tendency to have like all sorts of mental conditions, like bursts of rage and all sorts of, tendency to be a bit crazy.
Yeah. Of course.
This Nixie is really on fire. It's
Nixie,
amazing.
she loves Israel. She loves Mossad.
Let's pick
everything.
one. If we are not allowed to worship Jesus, first you can worship anything you like, Nikki. Just go for it. You can worship a rock if you like. Anything you like. You now have official permission from the Zionists. So, and if you want, I'll print you a card and certificate, official and everything.
Oh, sorry. Let me transfer this. Yeah, it's literally Mr. Mossad who's telling you this, Nixie. So
yes,
the Mossad. You can't really get more
exactly.
higher level.
You have permission to worship anything you want.
So,
but just try to be a good person to your neighbors and stuff. But you can worship anything.
She is saying discuss Zionism and the synagogue of Satan.
Oh
Ask
yes, the
Mossad
synagogue of
about
Satan.
this, please. So
See, we never heard of this synagogue of Satan, so we don't know what she's on about.
Is it?
But
did
the
Jesus
synagogue
say
that
this?
I know, I don't know. When we go to synagogue, there's no Satan involved. In fact, Jews don't really believe in Satan, so
they
it would be
don't.
weird for us to have a synagogue for something we don't think exists.
This is the thing. This is the weird thing.
It'd be like the synagogue of Zeus,
because Satan was
so we
actually
don't-
a Christian innovation. It came out.
It's
of
mentioned in the Jewish Bible, but there's no concept like this. It's
heaven
mentioned
and
as
hell
like
and the horns.
No,
that's
no.
what I mean.
So
That's a
we-
Christian innovation.
No, Jews definitely can't worship Satan. Then you are going against the basic idea of Judaism. So no.
Also,
No.
heaven and hell. You said there is a heaven and hell within Judaism.
There is a kind of. There is like there is the next world, and what it will be for you depends on your deeds in the past. So if you did good, then in the next world you'll be in a very good place, and God will be your friend, and everything will be cool. And it's not very clear what would happen, but it's good. And if you did bad stuff, then it's gonna be bad. That's basically it. But there's no. But I think that you can then, if you go to the bad place, if you behave really well there, you get upgraded gradually, to the good place. If you really work hard at it, that's what I hear.
We actually have a lady called Mel, who's also a Jewish lady in the Harvest Reflex chat, not the Banksy chat, and she's the one who actually I meet for these protests outside of in London when there's Palestinian protests. Usually I end up with Mel, Busker in the park, and the other guys who are counter protesting the Palestinian protesters. So they're the Jewish support league, if you like. This is hell, isn't it? Thank you, Mel. Thank you for your message, Mel. Yes, I did come back from Liverpool without a Liverpudlian accent, so I managed to survive 2.5 days in Liverpool and not be infected by their accent. So there you go. There's that. The thing is, Mel, you just joined me, and I actually was planning to finish this stream because it's coming up to 2 hours now, and I think this short form stream is
It's just that I heard your tone was like as if you're saying, go and look up these people. It's like you I think you believe this stuff, and you're just trying to be, to say. It's like I don't know what to do
sarcasm.
anymore. It's like I mean, it's just the stuff that these people believe.
The thing is, I knew that by pointing out, especially Kenneth O'Keefe, that's going to bring out a certain type of audience, and it will rise a certain group of people to the surface.
Oh, I see.
Because
he tried to smuggle weapons for Hamas, didn't he? So he's like a weapon smuggler.
This is the whole thing about the flotilla. which was the
Yes.
one that it was actually in his Wikipedia bio in regards to him being on board of that ship, and the Israelis stopped it from docking. So there, yeah, this was when was this?
Oh,
Actually?
Nixie is talking about the Talmud. I'm sure she read the whole Talmud and she
2001.
knows everything about it. It's funny because that when half the Talmud quotes they have, they're just made up stuff from books that don't exist. Like literally, if you search the quote, you'll never find it, except on Nazi sites. It doesn't exist, and it's just so funny. They really believe it. We don't follow the Talmud, Nixie. We don't follow the Talmud. We're like semi-secular people. We just follow tradition. We don't follow the Talmud. Israelis don't know what's in it. We don't read it. We may know a few quotes from it. If it ain't going to stop me, you muppet. So why was it? What under your
What is she
sock?
saying?
What?
If you think Muhammad
I think
is
she's-
a PDF, which is a PDF file, if you know how that goes, Jimmy Savile.
Yes. Yes.
What the Talmud promotes is far worse.
The Talmud is an argument between rabbis, and we don't follow the Talmud because you can't follow it because it gives contradictory opinions. So, for example, they'll be like, "What do you do if you find something in the street? Okay, is it yours? Should you look, try to find who owns it?" Or so they start arguing, and then you've got four opinions, like what you should do exactly. And then you say, "Oh, I follow the Talmud." You can't follow the Talmud, right? Because one says, "Oh, you should keep it." One says, "No, you should never keep it. It's never your property." One says, "Well, if you try genuinely to give it back, and nobody comes for it, then it's yours," etc. They just argue about it, right? So how are you going to follow it? It's just stupid. You can't follow the Talmud. You can read it and look at how you can make arguments for different positions. It's interesting, I suppose, if you're into that kind of thing. But that's it. Israelis don't follow the Talmud. What we do follow is like picked quotes from the Talmud, like the one that the Muslims steal from us. The killing one person is like killing
the whole world. Yes,
killing the
yes.
world. Yeah, that's from the Talmud. So we pick few things about like I don't really know. I'm not, I don't know. It's also part of Western tradition. Like the Talmud is kind of mixed into the Christian, and the Christian mixed into the Jewish tradition. Like it's very hard. I think.
Let me just make a quick
I don't know how
announcement to everyone who's watching. I know some of you are watching on Hafiz Reflects, the others are watching on Banksy Style Live. I apologize. We're addressing certain chats, but you may or may not see them because they're in the other channel. I'm kind of multi-streaming.
Nixie just repeating itself. Synagogue of Satan again.
Nixie's a special kind of lady.
Don't know what Synagogue of
I'm
Satan
talking about
is.
the short
Sorry.
bus kind of special. The kind of special set needs.
The lies flow from my tongue. Is Nixie
Wow,
Arab?
sad the lies flow.
She speaks Arabic in English words.
No, she's as far as I know, she's not Muslim.
Flow from your tongue. What is this?
She's very
Are we in a play, Nixie?
very close. She's gone all Shakespearean on you.
Yeah, Nixie,
thou
everything
shalt
I
not.
say is factual. Everything. You can't debunk me, so you're not very upset and typing pretty fast.
Poor Yorick, I knew him well.
Go wash your hair. Go wash the hair on your hands, on your elbows.
But the thing is, she says she can't come on the chat tonight.
Well,
because-
I mean, if she can't, she's like her elbows are still wet. There's a lot of hair.
look, all I'm saying is that
Gillette, the best
the best
Nixie can get.
the best the Nixie can get.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nixie. You know I love you. You know I love you. This
I lie so much,
She's saying
as
saying
your
you're a
country
liar,
does. But everything I said is factual. You can go and check everything. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. What's the name of the Apple head of CPU development? Johnny Sruji. Look him up.
though. Oh, is he?
He's a Christian, by the way. Christian Israeli.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
know.
most of them are Jews, I'm afraid. Most of them are Jews, sadly.
They are. Yes, that is a fact. I mean, the funny thing is, she's probably typing on a computer or a phone that has been developed or has a Jewish
There's no way to use
processor
the internet without relying on Israeli tech. You
in some
can't use
form or
it.
fashion. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. She's using relying on Israeli tech right now. I mean, the encryption used in the HTTPS protocol, which she's using right now. I don't know if they still use RSA on. I don't know anymore.
well, you see,
I think
she
they still
says
use
she's looked it
RSA.
up and she knows the truth. So
She knows the
there you
truth.
go. There's
Ooh.
nothing we can
So
do.
where is Moon Lake designed, Nixie? If you looked it up, tell me where is Moon Lake designed? That's what you do.
Moon-like?
Well, you can't steal Moon Lake. It's the latest Intel CPU. You
Oh.
can't steal an original patent from anyone because they would already have it. You idiot!
Because you stole.
You can't steal a
ideas from
patent.
all races.
Well, we build on
Yeah.
from giants of history. From
Nixie, are you going to be in
Newton
the
to
Palestinian protest
Einstein
tomorrow?
to
That's one. I'm sure
Yes,
there's one taking
probably.
place tomorrow at some point.
It's not hype, Nixie. It's just a fact. You can come to Israel and see all these clever guys turning up at Intel in Haifa.
This is the
developing this
weird
shit.
situation that we find ourselves, is that the Jews are simultaneously running everything and controlling the world, and yet at the same time they can't invent anything and they're stupid.
Yes.
It's kind of like nobody
It's
realizes that
amazing.
that's kind of a contradiction.
Yes.
You can't
It's-
be
it's
stupid
amazing.
and
They're
run
so-
everything at the same time.
Yeah, while being taken over by you know who. All
Whilst
she's
not being
thinking
able to
about is,
invent anything, but you steal everything from everyone else. But what you don't
Yes.
realize is, if you want to take over people, you have to be the first to do something that no one else has done. That's how you get ahead. If you're just copying other people, you have to wait for other people to invent the thing that you can copy. So you're always a step behind. So
yes, exactly.
So the
You
Jews can't
that's what the
take over
Chinese
anything
do.
if they're constantly waiting for the white man or whatever other race there is.
Look,
to
whenever I
invent the
turn
thing.
up, there's lots of questions for me. I'm not saying they haven't invented everything. Not everything, but every time you type anything on the internet, you are relying on Israeli tech, and almost all CPUs on Earth are Israeli developments, which are the brains of the computers you use
Well,
and the phones.
that's just in the field of like technology, but we're talking Jews have had significant impact in the fields of physics, medicine. There's just so many different fields. I mean, if you look at
Yeah.
the number of Nobel
Math.
Prize winners,
Yeah,
the
but you
Jews
know,
are
when I talked to
overwhelmingly,
AA,
you know,
when I talked to the academic agent, he claimed that the Nobel Prizes are rigged. They said our chess games rigged because Jews win half of the chess games. Half the world champions are Jews. How can you have the chess games rigged? And that really annoyed him. And I said, also there's a math competition where they put a riddle, and if you can solve it, you get the prize. I said, then half the time Jews solve the riddle. So what is that? Also a Jewish conspiracy?
well,
tell
yeah,
them
they
the
set up
answer?
these competitions. See, what you don't realize, Mr. Mossad, is that they set up these competitions so they're rigged so that it makes the Jews look good.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what it is.
They,
The Jews
they
set
use
up the
they
chess
use Jewish
matches
numbers.
and
They
the-
use
and the-
Jewish numbers.
Yeah, exactly. They use
Yeah.
like, I don't know, some kind of Hebrew numbering system.
Yes,
and
yes.
they rig
it's-
the
it's,
game just to make the Jews look good, because they have to, keep the facade that the Jews are exceptional and they are
Yes.
really, really, high IQ. And in fact,
Well,
all the
the-
IQ
you know,
tests
with-
are rigged for Jews to win.
the Jews are talented in certain fields, It's just, I mean, the thing is that the British are also exceptionally. If you look at all these things, you see lots of British
Yes,
names,
yes.
like completely disproportionate. If you think
the
compared to
British-
how many Chinese there are, there's so few British people,
Hmm.
and they invented like
Yes.
half of everything.
The TV, the jet
So-
engine, the Industrial Revolution was
I
arguably a
mean,
British
Yeah.
sort of,
Newton,
movement.
Maxwell, Darwin.
Yes.
I mean, it's just endless.
Yes,
It's-
the British were at the forefront of a lot of this. Unfortunately, Britain
Yeah.
has lost a lot of that
there's
ability.
are we saying it's a conspiracy? No, it's just talented people.
Well, what you don't realize is that the Jews made the British. They gave these things to the British so that the British look good,
right.
so that then later on they can obfuscate and take over their empire.
Yes, Who's the clown on panel? For fuck's sake!
I mean, who funded Nelson for the Battle of Trafalgar? It was the Rothschilds.
John, I'm Nick Ferrari's nightmare. Not Nick Ferrari, Nick Fuentes. Nick Ferrari is like
Nick
Ferrari is like
you listen to Nick Ferrari.
I used to listen to him occasionally on the
YouTube
thing, but then he stopped or something. Does he still go? Is he still
No,
going?
he's still on. I'm sure he's still on.
Oh, okay,
LBC.
I didn't know.
But I
used
don't
to,
really
'cause-
listen to LBC anymore. It's become a leftist sort of hellhole. With
Yeah, I know. You see, I keep checking stuff like this because I know about what's his name.
O'Brien.
Yeah, O'Brien,
Yeah,
because
he's
he's
a
like
sucker,
known as a Israel hater and British hater. Really hates British things.
I mean, James O'Brien is just horrific, and he apparently behind the scenes, him and Sheila Fogarty have basically taken over LBC in the sense that no one who really disagrees with them stays at the LBC very long. They'll essentially burn any.
I found them
goodwill
once.
Yeah.
I found them years ago. I found them.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I haven't phoned James, but I phoned Katie Hopkins when she was on there. I spoke to her on LBC.
She loves Israel. She's been to Israel.
Oh yeah.
She said that England has a lot to learn about it. From
The funny thing
Israel,
is, at
she
that
said.
time, I was very much of a leftist, and I didn't really agree with Katie Hopkins, a lot of the stuff she said, and I was very staunch anti-Katie Hopkins. But
Oh look, the King David Hotel. Look, they always come up with the same crap. King David Hotel.
Station.
Tell me, a third of the people that died there were English, British. A third were Jews in the King David Hotel. So I think like 30 British people died, or 20 something. How many people have Germans, civilians? These were British military. How many British civilians has Germany killed? Are you going around talking to Germans about all the people, the British people they killed in
This is
for
just
no
become a-
reason? They just bombed them. Do you go to German people and say that to them?
this has just become
Who
a
is the
Q&A
victim? You are the
session.
victim. You're the victim, John. I'm just saying, are you going to German people and saying, oh, you killed 50,000 British civilians who were just, asleep in their bed and you just killed them? But no, you don't. But that King David Hotel was killed as many Israelis as he killed British people. So I'm unhappy about it, just as you are.
This has
I don't
become
know
a,
what
just
you're
a
on
QA session between Mr. Mossad and the
this
chat.
is what happens every time because people are obsessed with Jews. They've got
Oh my
they've
god!
got it's called JOCD. It's like OCD, like normal OCD. Like people have to wash their hands all the time.
It's like Trump derangement syndrome, except it's Jew derangement.
It's it's a
syndrome.
bit like Trump. It's a bit like Trump.
JDS.
Yeah, JDS. I call it JOCD because it just makes me
JOCD.
laugh. Because it's like you can't think of anything except Jews. Like there's a leak in your roof. It's the Jews again. They somehow conspired to destroy my roof.
But,
Who else asked something stupid?
But yeah,
So
yeah.
it's endless.
It is. Okay, Mr. Mossad, I'm going to wrap this up because we've hitting
Yeah, I
the
didn't
2
mean
hours
to
mark.
go on. I know. I always promise to myself I'll just be short and just drag it on.
It's
But you really had me worried with this theory. I thought for me that you believe it. It's just so crazy. What the
the
stuff
thing
they
is,
come up with.
it's so easy. It's so this is the thing about these conspiracy type of things. It is actually very easy to do this. I mean, I should, in all honesty, if I was trying to really grift, I could just
Yes.
make an entire conspiracy theory channel just devoted to this crap, and a lot of them do really well, dude. I want to end this show, but I've just now you got me started. I just clicked on a suggested video by YouTube the other day, and it took me
Yes.
to this channel this guy was talking about how he has outer body experiences and he can now teleport to other parts of the universe whilst he's in this lucid dream state. So he puts himself into a lucid dream state in which he leaves his own body, and then he has now discovered, initially it was other people or other beings on the other side of the universe opening these portals where he could just communicate with them. So they were viewing him and he was communicating with them or something. But then eventually now he's reached a stage in which he can open portals and then and move his energy to the other parts of the... he was talking about this crap for like an hour and a half. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't stop listening. It's like a train wreck of so many things that are wrong in science, but it was just I just kept listening.
I mean, Tucker Carlson says that demons visited him one night.
Tucker Carlson, so he's in the same boat as Jordan M, who was getting punched up by a djinn, who thought he was getting black eyes from a djinn. And I think maybe it was because he was drinking too much gin, but no.
I don't know what Tucker Carlson was drinking, but he saw that. What else is she saying? Oh, they're complaining about laws against anti-Semitism. I don't know what laws you have in the UK. I think you have hate speech. I think you mostly are not allowed to talk about Muslims, but you can whine about Jews all day. Because whenever I go on YouTube, people are whining about Jews, not about Muslims. Very little. Seems they're afraid to talk about Muslims and pretend to be afraid to talk about Jews, but talk about them all day. Literally, I think half of Twitter is about Jews.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the weird thing. They're like, I was actually listening. I was on a X Spaces. You know, there's X Spaces. They're just like voice live streams, if you like, but they're on X. They're on Twitter, and I was on one of these, and I was listening to these guys talking about, first of all, they spent almost an hour talking about Jews and how they run the world, and and then at the end of it, one of them goes, they say the way to find out who rules you is to find out who you can't talk about. It's like a Voltaire quote.
Yeah, well, you can't talk about Muhammad.
But what I mean is like you just spent an hour talking about Jews, and now you're saying the people you can't talk about are the Jews. Who the hell were you talking about then?
I mean, it's obvious that they're just, I looked up, there's a guy who really hates Israel, and Ralph fell for his shtick. And I told Ralph, he's an idiot, he's a liar, he's an idiot. And I looked him up just the other day because someone mentioned him. And for the last year, every week, he's been doing an interview claiming that the IDF is about to completely collapse. Israel is about to be destroyed for 1 year. And of course, 2 days before Assad fell, he claimed that this was all a plan, that Assad is fooling the rebels and just hiring them.
Bloody hell. So
I mean, this is just a merchant.
The whole thing was actually a plan by Assad, and then Assad fell, and his whole plan.
And he keeps saying, "Listen, I mean, and even last week, he's had an hour-long interview. I didn't watch it, but the big thing on the image said something like, "Is IDF about to collapse?" Soldiers are leaving the army. Also, he's been saying that every week for a year. And in the meantime, Israel destroyed Hamas, destroyed Hezbollah, Syria collapsed, Iran is about to collapse. Trump now issued a warning to Iran, he's going to nuke them or whatever. This is, nothing is going like what he predicted, and people still watch it and still think he's really good and he's right. Scott is the, you look at the comments. Scott Ritter tells it like it is, like what?
Have you ever heard of a thing called gematria numbering? No.
Gematria. Yeah.
Gematria.
Nixie, you just go and look it up, Scott. That's what Scott Ritter does. I've got screenshots of him because I was proving to someone. I got like 10 screenshots of Scott Ritter from last year claiming the IDF is about to lose.
No. You know when I was watching George Galloway, that's what they were saying. They were saying that just before Assad fell, Israel was losing. They were being humiliated. I'm like, on what planet are you living on? How are they losing? They destroyed Hamas. They destroyed, utterly obliterated Hezbollah. and they were showing Iran as extremely weak in this whole situation, because the best Iran could do was essentially give us a fireworks display when they launched rockets at Israel. It was just a pretty hot fireworks display. So they completely destroyed all their enemies around them, but they were apparently losing.
Yes, yeah. And I don't know how people still, Danny Hyphon, is another donut, These people have been predicting the end of Israel for years. I mean, it's funny how Ralph, who is a very clever guy, right? You remember Ralph? I haven't heard from him for a while.
I'm sure he's still
And
around.
he's a really smart guy, he's a good guy. But he fell for Scott Ritter, and it took me 2 minutes to know that Scott Ritter is a moron. 2 minutes. And people fall for him for a whole year. For a whole year, he's telling them something is about to happen any minute now, and it's not happening, and they still fall for it. You know what? Because they hate Jews so much, it just helps them cope. Because someone is telling them that the Jews are about to lose every week, and it makes them feel a bit better about life.
This is what I mean. This is like, to me, at this point, someone like Nixie, for example, or anyone that is an Israeli hater, they must be heavily demoralized. I mean, I don't even know how these pro-Palestinians get out of bed on a Saturday to try to protest this thing that is horrifically losing. I mean, they must know. I mean, unless they live under a rock and they don't even know anything about the news, they must know since October 7th, when they had their little moment of joy, and believe me, there was plenty of Palestinians who celebrated October 7th. But don't think for 1 second it was just the Hamas guys who celebrated that shit. Since then, it has been a incredibly fast downward decline for all of these supporters, for anyone who supports the Hamas and Palestinian cause, quote unquote, or supports Hezbollah in any way. It has been just an unbelievable onslaught of just destruction from these lot. And eventually, Allah willing, Iran will fall as well. The Iranian regime will go the same way as Hezbollah. Now, from my perspective, that day can't come fast enough. But I just don't want it to come in the way of Syria or Iraq, which means another Islamist organization, another Islamic jihadi type takes over the Iran government. I don't want it to be that way. That's all I don't want. But, we just don't know, because revolutions are unpredictable. But I just want the Iranian regime gone. And right now, this is the best chance that the people of Iran have had in 45 years. This is it. This is the moment where I'm hoping that, given the situation in Syria, Hezbollah gone, Hamas crushed, that's it. Let's just get something done. And I think Israel wants that as well. I'm sure Israel is working behind the scenes for that, because I've heard that Israel is pushing for that now. That is the next thing they're gonna push for. Either foment or arm certain rebel groups within Iran in order to, mostly Kurds, I would imagine, in order to start, things happening over there. Unfortunately, I'm just worried about what comes after, because it's never good.
I'm worried. Syria is a basket case, but Iran could actually be a pretty good place if this government falls. Potentially, yes. Well, Syria, I don't think.
Well, this is the problem with these countries like Syria, Lebanon, Iraq. They have this, and this is, by the way, this is my own friends, my own secular friends, who I go out drinking with, and we do tequila shots, but they're Muslim, essentially. I mean, I've got one of my best friends is Palestinian, actually, but I've got friends, Iraqi Kurds and Syrians, Kuwaitis. There's a whole group of us. When Hosni Mubarak fell and went to Sharm el-Sheikh, ran away there, my friends were like, I hope, because when the Muslim Brotherhood was essentially, going up and becoming elected and all that, they were like, oh, I hope they make it a good Muslim country and they bring Sharia. I'm like, what are you crazy? Why would they do that? Why would you even wish for that? That's going to make Egypt a hellhole. It's like, no, it'll make it better. even the people who I
Yeah.
hang out with, who we do, I'm like, dude, you guys are as much Muslim as I am. You guys do everything. You fornicate, you have sex out of marriage, you drink alcohol like crazy. Admittedly, none of them eat pork. They still don't eat pork. That's something that's a line they won't cross.
Yes.
That's like,
Yeah,
oh
but that's
yeah,
an easy.
yeah.
That's an easy one. That's an easy
Exactly,
one. You know?
exactly. But other than that, they do everything else. And yet,
Yeah.
when it comes down to the politics, they still wish for a Sharia country. And I'm like, you wouldn't survive under a Sharia country. You wouldn't want to live under that situation. Why would you want Egyptians to live like that? Why would you want anyone to live like that? But they still have it in the back of their head. There's this fanaticism. I guess it's indoctrination that when Islam ruled the caliphates, when Salah ad-Din had his empire, when all the Umar bin Khattab had his empire, then the caliphates ran things. The world was just a better place. They've got that implanted in
Yes.
their skull, and they just can't get it out. They can't come to the realization that an Islamic world is a terrible world for everyone else that's not Islamic.
You know, in Israel, we have Muslims who don't believe that, and they join the IDF. They fight for Israel. They know that they are the lucky ones, and they fight for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Nixie is saying that many Jews have the same feeling as her. I don't think the voices in your head are many Jews. It's just voices in your head, Nixie. it just voice the voices. It's not Jews.
The many Jews have the same feelings as me. Are they anti-Semitic too? Well,
Yes,
yeah,
the voices in your head
unfortunately,
are anti-Semitic. Yes,
there are self-hating Jews though. You have to actually.
There's the same family that goes every week in London, right?
Yes.
There's one family. It's one family, by the way.
Really?
When
They
they say,
all
"Oh,
hail
the
from one
Hasidic
po-
Jews," it's one Jewish family. Out of all the Jews in London, there's one family that is anti-Zionist and turns up. I mean, a lot of them are not pro or anti. They don't really have any.
But a
they
lot
don't
of
really care that
Jews,
much.
even in Israel, there are Jews protesting against this conflict with Hamas and Gaza and all that. So there's still a lot of
Yeah, the far
leftists.
left. That's the far left. That's a different type of person. I'm talking about these Orthodox Jews
Yeah.
that turn up, and they always make sure that they're very visible so they can say, "Oh, look, Jews are protesting with us." But these Jews, it's just a crazy family. They're very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
they're
know
in
about
London.
them.
I see them. Yeah, almost every time I go, I see them. I video.
Yeah, they have a branch in Israel too,
Mm.
where they protest against the existence of Israel in Israel.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is the irony of it, that they have free speech
Yeah.
in Israel, which they wouldn't
Yeah.
if they lived under an Islamic state.
Oh, if they lived under their own rules, they wouldn't. There
Yes,
wouldn't be free
even on
speech
their
either.
own.
They're crazy. I mean, they're like hardcore,
It's
religious.
incredible.
I mean, even the proper religious people, very religious people in Israel, don't like them. They don't. They consider them crazy. Nobody really likes them.
Yeah.
It's just a weird sect. It's a bit like. What? There's an American equivalent. What's it called? Westboro or something.
Oh, Westboro Baptist Church. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like this.
They
They're
go
just
to
nuts.
they protest like veterans' funerals. And
Yeah,
shit like that.
yeah, they hate
It's
the
just
American
insane.
soldiers. They're just
Admittedly,
horrible.
in recent years, from what I understand, because the father, the head of that church, died, I think, and ever since his death, it's kind of fallen apart a bit. They're not really as active as they used to be. The family members started to to leave the whole thing. There's a lot of I know for a fact there's at least 2 of the girls who completely came out of it and now
Yes.
and went on to shows and started talking about how occultish.
Also,
they
you
are.
notice how the Western media loves to show these crazy Christians. Oh, look how crazy Christians are. Like, this is pretty norm in Muslim world. Why aren't you showing that? So they're trying to make Christians look like they're crazy. Okay, there's crazy Christians, there's crazy Jews, there's crazy everything. But these are just very small sect.
Pockets, yeah.
They don't, they're trying to make religion, the Christianity appear as a negative thing, and it's so obvious.
Yeah. Whilst,
we have the
whilst
same
at the
thing,
same time,
the-
entire countries, Muslim countries, are like that. Not just the
Yeah,
few
exactly.
families, whole
Yeah,
freaking
exactly.
country.
Yeah, and they don't say anything about this.
Yeah, the thing is,
They just
it's a little bit of a soft bigotry of low expectations because you see,
yeah,
this is actually white supremacy, and
it
this is
is.
how we see it as and most people don't want to pretend that this isn't true, but white supremacy is looking at someone else and seeing them as a lesser person than you.
Yeah, so they can't behave as nice as we do
Exactly.
because they're
They're the little
brown. So they can't,
savage people
you
over
know, they're not.
there.
Yeah,
They,
exactly. Yeah.
we're the sophisticated, first worlders. Those are the little third worlders. So we don't really judge them on the same grounds as we judge the first world people. So a Christian, being a first world sophisticated person, can't behave like a savage, can't behave badly and wish bad things on like veterans and whatever the Baptist church does, because we're sophisticated. They're the sophisticated first worlders.
Yeah.
Those little savage third worlders, well,
Yeah.
it's what they are. They're savages. So we got to excuse them. We pat them on the head and we say, "Run along, little savage. Here's a white man here to save you." That
Yes.
is the racism of the left. That is the
They
core
also think
of the
that
left.
yeah, also Americans think that anyone who comes to America is going to see how amazing America and Americans are. Is
Exactly.
just going to be like them. He's just automatically he's going to
Immediately
forget all
want to be
about
like them because
thousands of years of tradition, and he's going to become an American, and he's going to
yes, yeah, this is what I
play
mean.
the banjo and
They
I don't know
never
what
they
else.
never point they never actually I don't even think half the time they're even conscious of how incredibly patronizing and racist that attitude actually is. But
and
they
and
just
it doesn't
have
matter.
all day long.
I tried so many times to explain it to them. I said, "You're thinking that everybody is an American. You have to stop thinking that everybody is like you. People are not like you. You're the odd ones out. You're the weird ones who decided that nations and race is not important, and
Yes.
you're all going to mix together. You're the odd ones out. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good. There's nothing. This America is great, but you have to understand not the whole world is like you. You can't just turn up and think that, assume that everybody works like you,
Exactly.
and trying to make a democracy in Iraq. It's just like a five. You could explain to a 5-year-old why Iraq cannot be a democracy, and yet Americans think they know better.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And as I said, it's these attitudes that actually, through their supposed goodwill, actually gets America in so much trouble. Now, don't get me wrong. I think historically, America has done some things geopolitically in order to advance its own agendas. They've overthrown democratically elected governments. They've overthrown benevolent dictators. They've overthrown so many various people who could have actually done well for their own countries, but they did it because it suited either the corporatocracy of America, or geopolitically it was advantageous for America to have a puppet that they could control versus a patriot that they couldn't. So these things have happened. These are not myths, and I've read the Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Believe me, several times. I know how that works, and I've also read another
America
book, The
meddles-
Dictator's Handbook.
I mean, America, people say Israel controls America. It's exactly the opposite. America controls Israel. Literally, if we don't do what they say, they don't send us the weapons that we paid for. So they totally control us. But also, apart from that, they spend millions on propaganda in Israel, and they finance all the anti-government organizations and protests. So America, is like really trying to push our government out. They don't like Bibi. Of course, Trump will stop this, but his CIA and his, the State Department, they hate Bibi. So they're still gonna try and depose Bibi no matter what. They got him the same as Trump. They're chasing him in courts with all sorts of, weird cases that it's not clear even if he did anything. It's just nonsense.
Let me ask you one thing, though.
Political.
Do you think that Bibi should pay at least a political, after this situation, this conflict situation has finally ended? Should he pay a political price, if not an actual jail sentence, for the lack of security at October 7th?
I don't know, but that jail definitely not. Absolutely not. He hasn't done anything wrong.
But that
You could
was
say he
a
misjudged.
gross negligence.
Yeah, but he wasn't given information. So once you say, okay, it's his fault, then he says, well, nobody told me. Then you go, then who should have told him?
Well,
You go
exactly.
back down the
Some
chain.
heads
You
must roll
find
for that.
yes, they're already starting to. The thing is that they didn't want to create a chaos in the top of the army where people will start ganging up on each other and creating cliques where they, so
Especially in the
that's
middle
my
of this
guess.
conflict.
Yes, but you can't blame him, just him, and definitely there's not. He didn't do anything to go to jail for. But what he did do is he showed bad judgment, basically, that he listened to the people who were telling him, giving him wrong information, and we vote for him because he's supposed to be the guy who's smarter than everyone and he can figure them out. And if they lie to me, and I will keep you safe, and that's why he's going to have a hard time getting voted for not being, for not fighting hard enough. So it's funny that people think about him as like the warrior and stuff. He's like very moderate in, most Israelis want him to be more hardcore.
Would you say that the next election, that whenever that may be held in Israel, he's out?
If it was now, he would win.
He would win right now.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, the opposition is destroyed. Yeah, of course. I mean, the way he's painted in the media in the West is completely wrong, and it's just manipulated crap. And I'm surprised that the same people who know that the BBC is lying to them about the wrong country believe it when they talk about Israel. Right? They know, yeah. So no, Bibi is. They just did a survey, and he would win quite easily.
Interesting.
And he's got more support. Personally, he's got 3 times more support than the next guy. 3 times more.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
In a personal. Don't forget, we don't have 2 parties. We have several. So.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like Britain.
So he's got like 30%, and that's like huge, But the next guy's got 12. Okay, so
yeah. All right. Okay. But yeah. I mean, I think the Israeli system is very similar, or probably was modeled after the British system. It's a party system. It's not a, it's more like Britain, where you have.
It's a mix of British and French and all sorts. There's a lot of copying of.
But there's a lot of, system, but it hasn't become a 2-party system like America, where it's become that polarized with just 2 parties having any chance. It's actually a much more mixed situation with like Britain and a lot of European countries, where we have lots of other parties. There are 2 main parties, but quite often, actually, in the last few in recent history, the parties have to have, because there was a hung parliament, so they had to have coalition parties in order to be able to actually become government.
In Israel, it's always because of the way the system works. So in Israel, 30% for the prime minister is huge. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like in the UK. It means he's going to get over 50% in the election. He's going to have 55% once the coalition forms. Because our 2 parties actually split into many parties, but once the election is over, they all come back to the 2 blocks, the left bloc and the right bloc. His right bloc is going to win 55-60% of the vote.
Interesting.
That's what's going to happen.
That's a lot, actually.
So it's different to the UK.
So he's got 30% approval rating, essentially, in Israel right now.
Yes, but because there are many parties, it's split among many people. But the second one has got 12, and the next one has got 10%. And
so that's
like
huge for that sort of system. And then once the election comes, he's most likely interesting, because I honestly thought that
he's gonna get the highest number.
Yeah, I thought he's gonna have a lot of problems, but
he might. Who knows what happens next, right? So public opinion changes.
But I have to admit, I mean, I'm not.
I gotta go, actually. So I know you need to go.
Oh, you do?
I've gotta go.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Okay, good timing.
Excellent.
I know. It's just I keep going and you keep going, and then we just keep going.
No, I have to run. I have to run right now. So
excellent. Okay, Take care, Mr.
Thanks for
Mossad.
talking, and we'll talk soon. Yeah. Thanks.
Indeed, we will. Thank you, sir. Have a good one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. We're gonna call this one a day for now because it's midnight. It's actually midnight. I gotta get some sleep. Mel, I hope I see you tomorrow, my love. Guys and girls, I will be doing another Harvest Reflects on the road tomorrow. So if you're not subscribed to Harvest Reflects, go over there and subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And also, keep it locked to, and hit that notification when I go live. It should be around 1-2 o'clock, probably about half 1, that sort of period. And there'll be, I'm sure there'll be some interesting antics at London, where the pro-Palestinians meet the pro-Israelis. Oh, big up Midlife Bro Logic. Barney was in his house. Barney, I'm about to end this one. So, if you're starting a live stream, plug it now. Where are you going? Central London, just, Parliament Square, Whitehall, that area. I believe that's the general where the pro-Palestinians are going to be, and I believe the pro-Israelis are going to be nearby somewhere there. So that's where I shall end up tomorrow. Yes, live stream in an hour and a half. All right. So anyone in the States or anyone who's got an insomnia and doesn't want to sleep, around 2 a.m. UK time, you'll find Midlife Bro Logic. Go there, like and subscribe if you wish to check out. Dude, I've been wanting to talk to you. Your last stream was like 26,000 views. You were crushing it on that one. I don't know what the hell you did. Who did you suck off from YouTube to get that kind of algorithm massaging? But yeah, man, Barnabas is crushing it right now on his channel. So guys, go there. Vertical stream. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm on a vertical stream. I've in fact managed to get OBS set up for vertical streaming. So if you actually go to Harvest Reflects, not the Banksy Star Live channel, you will see me vertical streaming. So yeah, it's not vertical. It's not vertical. What the hell are you talking about? It's not vertical. The shit is vertical. I verticalized it. It's supposed to be freaking vertical. It looks vertical. It's very, very vertical. It's very vertical. Go to Harvest Reflects, not Banksy Star Live. It's bloody vertical. I see it on my phone. I'm looking at it. How can you tell me it's not vertical? But it's not being broadcast as a vertical stream, though. I think it's being broadcast as a regular stream, but in a vertical form. Okay, gonna have to look into that. Maybe it's the way I set it up. But it's very vertical. But anyway, this was just an experimental session to see how things go. Sorry, had a call from... Oh, it's okay, Mr. Mossad. Thank you for coming on. Thank you. You've been a gentleman, sir. Nixie, I love you. You're a sexy, sexy woman. And you and I could have some just horrific hate-fused sexual coitus. I think, we would have that angry sex, resentful and just... It is vertical. That's the same. Me or my says it's vertical. I thought it's vertical. Looks vertical. But it is. It isn't in that YouTube style vertical. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've set it up. I'm testing it out. Next time maybe it'll be different. But for now, I believe it is time for us to depart, ladies and gentlemen. For us to bid you adieu, because I'm done. And besides, I need to go and get changed. I gotta keep this thing PG-13. I can't say the things I want to say. Nixie, you and I will do some crazy things under the sheets, girl. I think the level of visceral hate you have for me, you can just do me out of disgust. It'll be that kind of coital engagement. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I am going to bid you farewell. go to Hafez Reflex TV, HAFEZ TV. For those of you who need to know, let me write it down here. Type that in your Google and like and subscribe. Those of you who are already on Hafez Reflex, like me or my, thank you so much for joining me, and Mel, and many, many, many others. Holy Spirit, Suzul, love you. Hassan Yalmaz, I don't know if you guys are still there. MK, what happened? Taiki, I think that's a new person. Tan Dark Style, interesting. I'm not sure if that's someone new or old. Fun with Dirts, you did me dirty today, man, but I love you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Mr. Mossad, of course. Lewis. Nixie for being just awesome in the chat. Diana. Mel again. Love you, Mel. James May. Diana. Paul. Who else am I missing? Did I miss anyone? I'm sure I missed a bunch. I'm sorry if I missed your name. CCD, of course, my man, the myth, the legend, CCD. Everyone else, John R. I guess that's it. I think I caught most of the people. There's probably a bunch that I haven't. I'm sorry if I missed your name, because Nixie just typed so much that now I can't even scroll back to see anyone at the top. Nixie crushed it in the chat tonight. She had a lot to say. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a wonderful evening and a great weekend. Ciao. How do I play this son of a...
Half walks in twilight, London streets so bright, echoes of the city, life is never pretty. Newspapers and full tales, underneath the moon's pale, shadows whisper softly, chaotic but lofty. Hard-hitting news, breaking views, truth in the night, hidden in plain sight. Hustle of the corners, voices getting bolder, dreams and tears collide, stories cannot hide. In the depth of silence, human heart defiance, finding light in dark, leaving a lasting mark. Hard-hitting news, breaking views, truth in the night, hidden in plain sight. On the full tales, underneath the moon's pale, shadows whisper softly, chaotic but lofty. Hard-hitting news, breaking views, truth in the night, hidden in plain sight.